Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speedgaming Main. Today we've got another qualifier of the Creative Time Randomizer Speedgaming Live 2023 tournament here. We've got ourselves Engel and Pyra on restream. I'm starting with me on comms tonight. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Not too bad myself. Looking forward to a fun race here. We've got ourselves two excellent runners, both had the experience. We've seen them in many a OTR tourney before. Should be fun to see how they do.
Yeah, no, these are two absolutely insane racers. I mean, we had our pick of the litter here. You got all the greats playing right now. So, I mean, I just expect nothing less than the absolute best from these two.
Yep. So this is the third qualifier out of 12 for the Creative Time Randomizer Speedgaming Live online tournament here. We have ourselves here. So this is for anyone who is in the Speedgaming chat here. I know there's plenty of people who may not have seen our Creative Time Randomizer before. If you have questions, please ask. Basic gist is, as always with Zelda randos, the items are shuffled, and you need to get to and beat Ganon.
And looks like we're off.
Here. Let's see, our stones are Deku Water Spirit, yikes, and our other and our enforcers are Shadow Medallion. Wahoo! So, our win conditions. We need three spiritual stones to open the Rainbow Bridge. Song of Time is at Minuet. So the stones are Deku, Water, and Spirit.
Big Goron is dead.
That is a handy hint to have. And we also need a Shadow and Spirit medallions to get the light arrow cutscene at the Temple of Time in order to get the Ganon's Castle boss key, since we need to be able to physically get to Ganon to kill him. And so that will be Forest Temple needs beating as well. Let's see, hints. Valley, Foolish, River, Valley, River, Fountain, and Trail.
There's so much information at the beginning of these seeds. The idea is to cut out as much as possible in the early game. And those 4 hints right there cut out tons of our Spear Zero checks. And Spear Zero is really just pretty much any of the checks that you don't need any items to go ahead and get those checks on.
Yep.
And also, we started with a minuet start. So a minuet start is probably one of the stronger songs when it comes to our warp songs that we have. It instantly gives you a song no matter which age you are. We're currently adult, and if we play minuet as a child, we'll also go ahead and get another song as a child, which is typically Saria's song.
Let's see. Deku is Pathomorpha and Spirit is Pathomorpha. So, Ocarina of Time is a very large game. There's a lot of checks to do, and there's a lot of items. So we have hints in the game, as you can see, to help give some guidance to where we can find things. What was the second Pathomorpha? I said it and then promptly forgot what it was.
I believe it was Spirit.
Thank you. Thought as much. So our patterns tell us that there is an item in that region logically required to beat the boss in question, as to get our first bow in Mido's house. Foolish hints mean that there is nothing logically required to beat the game in that. There is nothing of value in that area.
Now,
there is also a strength upgrade, because we have 20 and 50 skulls are always hinted in the Skull to the house, 14 50 skulls are dead, 10 skulls is a check that is not hinted, you just have to find it somewhere.
Yeah, that 30 strength upgrade, whenever there's a strength upgrade on skulls, you're always going to be passively collecting the gold skull to us throughout the entire game until you rule out that you no longer need that third strength. Hopefully it's your third strength.
Oh dear. I was commentating a OTR Francophone tourney match yesterday. 30 skulls was a strength upgrade. There was also Closed Door of Time into Dungeon ER and Dungeon Token Sandy with 1 major item per dungeon. They missed the impressively stupid feat of having less than 30 skulls available as an adult before they went child, as we got our scale in Shield Grave. So that was actually logical strength 2, which we knew because of some fun with past logic. So one rank was on Labyrinth, another was somewhere I'm presently forgetting, and then it turned out UGC had light arrows, because thanks, Ganon!
Oh, 30 skulls for light arrows on OGC. OGC, for those who don't know, stands for Outside Ganon's Castle, and that requires 3 strength upgrades to yeet the rock, go play Zelda's Lullaby inside of the fairy fountain, and get the item that's in there, which just so happened to be light arrows in that seat that Star was referencing.
Yep, Ganondorf does always give a hint as to where light arrows are, so it is common for runners to get to the end of a seed without lights and just go check, okay, where is it?
We did see a scale on the shield grave in the graveyard on Pyra's end, and I don't think we've seen much on Angle's end with the path they chose.
He got a bow out of Mido's house, that's about it.
That's, I mean, that bow, he also showed off a really nice trick using the bow to shoot through the boulders and using the shortcut between Lost Woods and Goron City.
Yep, for those who don't know for those who are wondering why that can work, OOT is a well-coded game with some very fun collision, basically. And we have a second though on Dante Race, okay.
Oh, wow, that's, alright, so that's actually pretty good for Pyra.
Oh.
You're gonna check Mido's anyway. Mido's basically your starter pack of items.
Yep. Yeah, I also noticed, by the way, that 2 of our 3 stones are path to the 3rd stone. Thanks, game.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's so good.
Because both Deku and Spirit are path to Morphize to get Serenade in the Windmill.
And Rufio's got a nice heart piece for us, or a heart container.
Gonna say that's not a heart piece, Soak.
Sorry, I need my glasses.
Skull Mask is still dead, or technically another heart container, but those are not really needed for runners of this skill level. Heart containers do not lock anything in this randomizer, unlike some other Zeldas. They're nice to have, but these runners can finish the entire seed on 3 hearts. It's not an issue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only one you're really worried about is fire.
You get another one, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, fire true, but they can get bottles or potentially a tunic.
Bottles, tunic, or just 5 hearts. That's all you really need.
Yeah, 5 hearts and explosives. If you're wondering why we're talking about explosives and like how does 5 hearts work with full of the timer, you'll see later. Or actually, no, we'll never see because fires are a late medallion today.
Hopefully,
in this randomizer is that in this tournament is that the light medallion is always pre-completed. So we start with the light medallion, and the dungeon that contains it is going to be completely useless. Guaranteed, never required. So we won't be seeing Volt today. Now, this is because with the 3-stone and Shadow Spirit medallion win conditions, the light medallion doesn't do anything besides exist, more or less, and maybe contribute to your win cons if you need more, a number of medallions, not just specific ones. Since it's otherwise functionally useless, whereas the Shed, Forest, Fire, and Water medallions at least unlock songs, we've just turned it off altogether just to make things a little easier. Yeah,
just don't not check your medallion layout in the beginning, and don't do light medallion DC. I just did that in a race, and I felt so dumb afterwards getting the light medallion.
At least it was DC and not a longer dungeon. Doing all of light medallion shadow.
Oh, I mean, you definitely checked the medallions at that point. There's no way you haven't by that point.
I'd hope so, but things have happened before.
I figured it was DC. It was a 1 in 8 that it was going to be the light medallion.
And you got unlucky.
That's okay.
And yeah, Perfect Past Child here having found really nothing much of note as a adult and nothing much to do with his items here. Skill and Bow really don't give you anything on their own.
Yeah, I can't imagine Angle goes any further.
But yeah, that's about it. Speaking of bows, that is Angle's second. And what do you think about their cosmetics today? I can't tell if that's a very dark blue or a solid black for Angle, and Pyra's got a pale, kind of dusty pink here on his end.
I think I'm going to go Pyra. I like the color. It's nice and refreshing.
It's a little too washed out, especially given that Pyra's HUD is also kind of a little too pastel for my taste.
I could appreciate the vanilla HUD on Angle's side. I don't know about you, but I actually like vanilla colors.
I do as well. He does have a custom heart color, because that's green.
yeah. Hearts are green. This is confirmed.
Let's see. SFM is Goma. Alright. That is going to be for either Kokiri Sword or locking all 3 slingshots. We'll see which.
Which we found Song of Time so far?
Song of Time, which unlocks very little modules.
They're not all good. None of them are good, actually.
Yeah. We're gonna see what the song is child is, as well as the grot, before you can figure out what that's path for. No, we're referring to logic as well, as in these paths are items that are logically required to beat the dungeon. Like they are hard required to get a Kokiri sword to get into the Deku tree in these settings. It is close to Deku tree, so you can have it in OTR set so that you don't need the Kokiri sword and the Deku shield to open the Deku tree. We do have a set. You need that in these settings. Logically, you need a slingshot, but there are several different ways to bypass it, and both runners know them, so they kind of don't care.
I mean, slingshot's just nice inside of Kokiri or inside of Deku Tree. It feels much better.
In any case, logic is what you refer to is the randomizer's inbuilt, the randomizer program's inbuilt code to make sure that you cannot get yourself firmly stuck. Your items will all be at least be placed in a way so that they are accessible and you can beat the game.
Yeah, God forbid you don't know how to do keys and you lock yourself in Fire Temple.
Yeah.
or Spirit, for that matter.
Water Temple, too. Or GTG, actually.
Logic Pirate does get moded.
But there are some less intuitive things about random that you can get stuck on sometimes. Such as you can't have a small key in Vivaggio or Morpho, because those are deposits that are accessible directly from the start of the dungeon. But that is the general gist of how the logic works, is you cannot... It assumes... It makes sure that you cannot get stuck.
It assumes that you are making the worst possible decisions.
And makes sure you still can't get stuck even if you use your keys in the worst way possible, for instance, yeah. Also, apparently Angle didn't read the Foolish hints. No, he'll do something as child did. Because but he is here in River, which is foolish, which, I really hope for his sake he finds some interesting hints here, because otherwise this is going to be a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Greg up there, we got Greg, the green rupee of Eternal Glory. The only green rupee in the game. Hopefully, hopefully he takes the sign that this is dead.
Unfortunately, one check. There's only 3 items here in River. It's not really...
Yeah, 3 hints, though.
Yeah, it could be valuable hints, because Pyro's not getting these.
Yeah. No, these hints are definitely strong.
River, but not the other 2. Wow. Hints are very strong in OT because there can be a lot of guidance given, though that particular one doesn't help. We've already seen the other copy for Pyra. And we've got Sorry Song on Nalin, so that is our logical access to our Song of Time. Speaking of logic, you logically are required to... Okay, these river hints are terrible. For Angle, unfortunately, both copies of what you've already seen. So, speaking of logic, you are required to have Sorry Song or Minuet to bypass Mido and Lost Woods as adults to get to Sacred Forest Meadow. You can backflip over him without too much difficulty. It's nearly a strat everyone learns when playing the Randomizer, is run racing the Randomizer, but it is something interesting to see. Burning Cat is Sun Song.
Yeah, that's a good hint.
That locks a grand sum of 2 checks. Actually, 1 check, because Frogs 2 is guaranteed dead with River Foolish. So it is one of those songs. Since I mentioned that it's win conditions, it's with 3 stones and Shadow Spirit Meds. Burning Cat is the Nocturne check in vanilla. This is locked behind the Forest, Fire, and Water, but the odds are Shadow, DC, and Jabu in that order.
Now, Sun Song doesn't really have that much value in itself when you're talking about checks, but if you do need those 30 skulls, that Sun Song has way more value than you may think. But our runners aren't going to do all dungeons just to go ahead and get Sun Song.
No, but they are really going to be hoping that Sun Song Grave does not have anything, because that is the only check a Sun Song locks in these.
Oh,
never mind. Speaking of,
that's so good.
A good hint for Pyra, actually. Back Lakens are not one you see very often. Pyra's doing it for time of day here, since he wants to do some daytime checks, and he's currently in the middle of the night.
Wow,
that is a good hint for Pyra. Never mind.
That is a guaranteed no AD. There's still chance for OOT AD, which means you dip into your other temples, the temples that you're technically not required to beat, to maybe go get some items to beat the temples you do need to beat.
But you're not required to specifically. No lens game either, because that's also a dead hint from Pyra, as Angle's going to turn in our friendly neighborhood dog and see if he's a good boy, or if his owner sucks, and she sucks. Well, could be worse, I guess. Not a break isn't the worst thing to get.
To be fair, Richard's always a good boy. It's the owner that we have a problem with.
Yeah. Anyhow, that upgrade could be worse. That's not gonna give you any new checks, but it's nice to have. Deconuts, one of the most underrated items in the game.
I mean, we could see a potential where our runners don't find Hammer or Big Goron Sword, and they're using Nuts against Ganon in the final.
Yeah.
It's rare, but we could hope.
Yes, it certainly is possible. 2 skulls now for Angle. Apparently I'm a bit of a potato. Is that the case for you?
I'm sorry?
Apparently my mic's being a bit of a potato for someone in chat, or is it?
Oh, so every once in a while, it just sounds like it's a internet connection thing, but it's only happened twice now since the start, and it's gone away pretty quickly.
Alright then, well, Discord likes to be done with me sometimes. Big chest for Angle. And...
Nice! Okay.
I can't remember if it was Qual 1 or the OOTR Francophone tournament just commentating yesterday, but I swear I saw a slingshot in that exact chest just recently.
It's convenient. I mean... Oh, Song of Storms.
Storms. Path to Goma, potentially? It's more likely than Song of Time.
Yeah, that opens up the bottom of the well. You got Song of Storms checks, which you could get right here in Kokiri Forest. We know the Death Mountain Trail Song of Storms check is dead. So, yeah, that's a decent amount of checks. I believe 12 in total, if you have ZL and explosives.
It's 13 items in the well, plus the 2 Storm Scratos. Frog's one also confirmed dead.
Oh, wow.
13 in the well, plus 1 Storm Scrato. Frog's one is dead, and the others in the Foolish DMT. Yeah, okay. Well, in the letter spot. Thank you, Chad. That's a fun one. And Hidden Domain. Water Central Pillar Chest is dead. That's a nice one, because that can be a bit of a pain.
And
there's a copy of it. Also, Kokiri Storms is not our path. That is useless. We do have chest size matches contents on for those who are wondering why some chests they are skipping some chests. For example, the ones with the gold texture, like these Kokiri Sword chests that Angle found a slingshot out of, is that engages a major item in there. Hearts have their own textures, and then junk is in, like rupees, ammo refills, and whatnot are in small chests. There's a special texture for small keys. Let's see, Composer Grave is Nocturne and a dead check.
That's always a good one. I like that one right there. That's our dual hints system that gives us 2 hints on, some odd checks. That's usually a check that kind of gets orphaned off a little bit, is the torches inside of the Royal Tomb. So it's good. I have no complaints there. Now, the downside of Angle not having Sarias while doing Lost Woods is he won't be able to full clear here. I mean, minus the explosive checks. I'm still wondering where our first explosives are going to be.
Not that, so that is Dins.
Well, the Dins could logically be required to explode the bomb shoes, or not the bomb shoes, the bomb flowers in the bottom of Storm, or bottom of the well. If we get magic.
It's possible. Ice arrows are useless in these settings. We do not have blue fire arrows on, so that is a setting in the randomizer you can turn on to make that particular item a little less useless, because ice arrows really are funny. They have some funny they have some funny interaction with the Bongo, but they don't actually do anything in practice, and usually.
They're very convenient to play with.
And Pyro's gonna pass 2 Lost Woods here, getting the Sunsong Grave, or actually no, just gonna downriver. To field, the Sunsong Grave remains dead. No, Pyro now knows that Burning Cat is effectively dead, since he's the one who got the Burning Cat, the Sunsong Grave hit in Back Lake. And my brain's in a million places. Angle's gonna go pick up the skull here, good choice. We don't know for sure that the skull on the strength on 30 skulls is a report, but Spirit is a stone, and we do need to beat that. So
yeah,
there's a real chance that strength upgrade is required to beat Spirit.
Yeah, this is definitely a beam buy for Pyra as well. When you're this late, you're almost 20 minutes in, and you really haven't gotten any useful items, you start worrying a little bit.
Yeah, we've got no items as child. It's kind of hilarious. We've got a slingshot and Dins. Great.
I mean, we saw Slingshot, which unlocked Dins and targeted in the woods in the Lost Woods. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah, Storm's got bombs or zeal. It's like, game, please. But we just don't have a lot to do, really, is the issue. We've got a handful of items, but none of them give us much of anything meaningful right now.
Yep, you still need magic for the Dins. The scale, you've already checked your one item in there, which was the wallet. I mean, there's just really just not much.
No, Riziel, Colossus, Bolero. Yeah, Colossus or
Colossus or
Bolero.
Bolero.
Because our only remaining soundtracks are Colossus, Bolero, Prelude, and Ice Cavern. Ice Cavern's behind ZL.
Can't be Prelude.
Prelude is behind Shadow, which is locked by ZL, because you need ZL to move the boat.
Yeah, so Bolero or Colossus. Oh man, logical crossing early. I would love to see it.
Can't do that right now, though. No hookshots, and the bonus song is also MIA. And the bonus song and Requiem are both among the songs we're missing. Correction.
Yeah, at this point, honestly, I would like to see our runners go towards bottom of the well. Even though you can't full clear it, it's a lot of checks. You can still get a decent amount done.
Song of Storms is potentially path, and we're running out of things to do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the bomb checks, you could check those, you could peek them, because of the big chests, you could just peek right through them.
Yep.
It's not a bad...
yes, Shannock, I just remembered, Creed of Time could be ZL, though with Water and Spirit being stones is not very likely.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Start with Prelude as well as Free Child Zelda in these settings, so Free Child Zelda means they start with Zelda's letter and the song or item off the song check from Zelda at Hyrule Castle. That was Minuet today. But we also start with Prelude, which is just separate from Free ZL, so one of the 12 item song checks is replaced by an item randomly. We don't know which, but it is one of our 5 remaining song checks.
Well, we know it's not going to be Burning Cack.
No, that's true. We know that's Sun Song.
Which is the best one to get junked out.
Yeah. Yeah, if Harris picked up his slingshot, he's probably like, game, thanks.
He's going to get the tins and say the same thing.
Yeah. We don't even have 30 skulls, logically. We do not have bottles, we have no boomerang, we have no hookshot, and we don't have explosives.
The bean grab was definitely the play that makes the most sense.
For sure. Even though River is foolish, non-shuffled items such as the beans in these settings, so beans can be shuffled in other settings, do not count towards that. So you can still be required to buy a bean or beat even if Fortress was foolish, for instance, you could still be required to beat the Gerudos for the Gerudo card if that's not shuffled, which it is in these settings, that kind of thing.
Yep, and the 4 bean locations that you're really worried about, well, there's 2 of them in Lake Hylia. There's one of them in the crater, and there is one of them in the Colossus, Desert Colossus. Then you're also looking at one in the graveyard. We've already peeked the graveyard. The Lake Hylia beans, you can't really peek those, so you're going to plant the beans, go adult, and go check those checks, which are in logic. They're possible right now with that scale. So it's not a bad play.
Yeah, I mean, there's just only so much to do, as mentioned.
Oh, you gotta love
part
these
of your problem right now is unlike the first qualifier where we were Light Arrows and Colossus access from no mode at 30 minutes in, we barely got anything 30 minutes in.
Well, you got your wish. It's not going to be a quick one. Maybe.
No. Someone mentioned in chat they were that in the race time room that they were hoping for a quick seasons as a work night. And then they might have just cursed us all.
Oh, there's the BGS. Okay,
might have just cursed is all I think.
that's the big Goron sword, or BGS for short. Probably the best item. Ooh, light arrows on
light
Smoke Kid.
arrows. That hurts a little. For Angle, who's mentioned didn't have Zarya song passing through earlier, he will get the hint for lights if needed from Dorf, as we discussed it. But that's going to be a bit of a time loss if he doesn't get that at some point passing through, though he'll probably get them when going to Deku Tree, whenever that is. Some point much later this seed at the rate we're going.
Saria's. That was in
Ranch.
Ranch, thank you. Okay.
Miss AJ, these guys will sub 350. That's guaranteed. These settings are not that long. They should be able to sub 3 hours pretty much everything in these settings.
Yeah.
Unless things go catastrophically wrong, they should go. These guys are of such a skill that with these settings in this randomizer, they can beat the seats up 3 hours guaranteed.
Yeah, especially with the crazy lineup we got going on in this qualifier. So many good
there's
players.
There's a lot of good runners here.
Every single qualifier so far, just absolute slayers.
Like there are some. Of course, so to know that Arkham Time Randomizer has an incredible amount of setting options. The Randomizer's been out for about 5 years, and there have been a lot of settings that have been come up with in the past 5 years. We've mentioned several already. You can absolutely end up with some seeds that will even take runners of this, like these guys, 5 hours or more, but these are not settings that take 5 hours for them.
Yeah, this is not RSL, this is not mixed pools. Also, we just got a hint that Ice Cavern. This is not Skull or Enemy Souls, which is a newer option that just came out. But we just saw Ice Cavern. The song is junked. So the last 2 items in Ice Cavern are dead. But that still leaves 3 items in all the items that are still in Sora's Fountain. Unless that's hinted dead.
Which it hasn't been. No, Fountain is foolish, but we do still have King Zora there and the other 3 checks in Ice Cavern.
That just makes dipping ice so much worse. So you got a total of 4 checks on your way up and out of there.
That's kind of terrible. Darklink chest or Water Temple Darklink and River chest are both also dead. Nice.
Wow, that's 3 doubles so far.
Yep, we've gotten all of our sometimes since. We've gotten most of our always hints, and we know Frogs 2 is dead, so that's basically all of our always hints. We're missing 2 sometimes hints, and we're single sometimes hints, and we're missing 2 path hints. The path hints are the randomizer is set in such a way so that the path hints will try to favor 1 for each required dungeon. We did start with a Spirit Medallion, but there will likely be a path for each of our remaining required dungeons, which are Deku, Water, Spirit, and Forest, and a duplicate for at least 1, which in this case we've seen 2 Morpha paths. But we've also seen a Goma path. We haven't seen a Twin Rova path or a Phantom Ganon path yet.
Yep,
we will not get a Phantom Ganon path because it is, if this specific instance of this item is logically required to beat the dungeon. We already know that there are 2 bows, so neither can be path because they're both equally available and don't lock each other. There are also 2 strength upgrades. 3 strength upgrades, one of which is on 30 skulls. And we don't know where the other 2 are, but it's quite possible there's 2 strength upgrades available. If there are both hookshots available, then we might not have a Phantom Ganon path, but we don't know that yet. We know that it cannot be a path to Phantom Ganon for a song access because we started with Minuet from Zia.
The classic multiple Morpha paths. You gotta love.
Oh, actually, and that's a good point from Chad, actually, because for the other thing, too, is we have split win conditions. We have 3 stones and 2 medallions. So the stones are prioritized over the medallions for path hints, since you need access to the Rainbow Bridge before you need access to the Ken's Castle boss key door. So any items that are on the path to a stone dungeon, whether hinted or not, cannot be hinted on the path to a medallion, on the 2 medallion dungeons. So they're actually no forest paths, because all the items are logically required for forest, which are a strength, a bow, and a hookshot, are also logically required to beat Deku, Spirit Temple specifically. Also probably water. So no forest paths, actually, that's a good point. But we are still guaranteed to have at least 1 spirit path and then a duplicate for one of our remaining ones, which will be funny. Yeah, our stones require 2 strengths and 2 hooks.
I would love to see another Morpha path.
That would be funny. Triple water path is always funny.
It looks like both of our runners have decided to finally dip the well. Well, hopefully Pyro will, but this is the right play in my book.
I can't see how my Pyro wouldn't do well in this situation. It's not like there's anything else to do at this point. I mean, Russian, no Zero explosives, risky, but like with CSMC, I mean, it's not like there's anything else left to do in the game, really.
Oh, there's
Speaking
explosives.
of explosives.
Those are not logical. They're not in logic to use them, but they could help you get 2 more checks here in the bottom of the well.
Yep. But yeah, we're running out of checks to do, and the Song of Storms is potentially Path to Goma, so this makes a lot of sense. It's just not much left in the game, because they still don't have, and you can't do any dungeons, really, besides this. They don't have much in the way of overworld checks left either.
Yeah, Adult Lake.
This, I mean, they could get 10 skulls.
An Adult Lake.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we know Valley's foolish, so we can't keep that.
Oh, there's Dampe Digging.
Yeah, which is heart piece, sure. I mean,
Nice.
take it, but you'll take it, but it's not going to be required.
Looks like there's something in the coffin here. Angle is going straight for it.
Chat says that's a bomb bag. Well, that'll help a lot. That is our logical access to blowing up things, which, as it turns out, blowing up things unlocks a lot in this randomizer.
Congratulations, you blew the seed open. I'm sorry, it was right there.
Oh, you're good. That might be locking the Kokiri sword. I mean, Shadok, that bomb bag looks to be locking the rest of the seed. So yes, that's probably locking the Kokiri sword. And everything else.
You gotta love when a hookshot or a bomb bag gets indirectly hinted for one of your paths.
Yeah. It could be, like, Kokiri sword could be bomb lock in the Wolfos crowd, but we don't know. Because bomb bag unlocks a lot. We can go finish Fire Medallion DC now. We can go do a lot of grottos everywhere. We can go blow up a bunch of stuff in Goron. We can go blow up Goron City a bit as both ages. There's a bunch of stuff that opens.
Maybe this pushes Angle back to Lost Woods.
Possible. I mean, we've got to do something with that bomb bag, as well. We're definitely going to Lost Woods because that's Kokiri sword.
Oh, the bailout! I love it.
Well, Storms locked the Kokiri sword. Bomb bag did not. Anyhow, well, we might have. I was not counting where keys went. But anyway.
I'm sure there was one of them.
Logically, the Lockpit's chest where the Kokiri sword requires 3 keys. Remember.
I'm actually curious what this is for Angle.
Bowling.
Yeah, I always forget about that. It's 2 quick checks.
Now let's hope we don't get a well to go, but that would be a little silly, yeah, Shannock. But we don't know. Randomizer does random things.
I'm convinced our hints aren't that great already.
The same item cannot be hinted directly by 2 hints at once. So, for example, we cannot get Graveyard Path to Twin Rova for a strength upgrade in the Shadow Temple, for instance, because we already have Nocturne separately hinted by a dual hint. Or we can't get Cack Path to Twin Rova for the strength on 30 skulls either for the same reason, since that has been separately hinted from the NPC. But you can't get a direct hint and an indirect hint, such as the Storm Singing Path for Goma in SFM and Well separately Path to Goma for Kokiri sword directly in the Well. That is possible. You have indirect hints, but you cannot get 2 direct hints for the same thing, because that's a bit redundant.
This is a little interesting. Angle not going for the hints around Deku. Two hints? You're missing 2 paths?
You might check them after, but this is an interesting play, because we're missing 2 paths, we're missing a lot of stuff. I would not be skipping.
You got 2 very good beginner items here with the Kokiri sword and the bomb bag, and...
whatever this is. More 2! Nice.
The game said, congratulations, you could have all the explosions now.
Yep. checking them after is a good bit longer. Yeah, alfalfa. Because yeah, you wind up back on mute after being a tree. Good point. All right, Pyro getting his Kokiri sword here.
Oh, Pyro, so close. That was scary. That had me sweating. Almost got burned by
Another
the
big
keys there.
chest for Angle is our first hook shot. Nice.
Ooh, okay. Two very good items to pretty much open any seed you want. The hookshot and the bomb bag. The Kokiri sword's also good if, just for easy checks here in Deku. But those two items alone will unlock so much throughout your seed.
30 Skulls is now in. Between bombs and hookshot, we have that.
Yeah.
We have hookshot, bombs, and sufficient dungeon axes. I'm pretty sure we can get 30 Skulls. I really wanted I could go find a map tracker, but I believe we have enough access to skulls and dungeon skulls included, especially with Deku. We should be good on that.
Oh, it looks like Angle's
Pyro is
actually
not going to skip the hints.
Thank you,
Pyro.
It
makes sense at this point for Angle. You know 30 is in, you know it's a strength upgrade, and you know Spirit's required. Goron City Path to Twinrova. Yeah, speaking of blowing up Goron City earlier.
Very good hint there.
Hopefully no one gets caught out by Goron City today, because several people did in Squall 1.
Oh yeah, there's a strength in the Goron pot on Qual number 1 that happened over the weekend.
Also, we've got yet another big test for Angle. Really, Deku Tree?
Deku Tree is just way of the hero at this point. And was that a duplicate of the same hint?
That was both copies of Goron City to Twinrova, yes.
Oh, that might not be... If Angle chooses to skip those hints, that's vital information you're missing out on.
Boomerang! We don't want to be that, since it was the water medallion.
Put it back.
Well, we kind of do and don't, because that does also very much guarantee 30 Skulls is in. So, pros and cons, I guess?
I still vote to put it back.
Oh, I do too. These guys know how to get 30 Skulls without a boomerang. They have the hookshot, they've got a bomb bag. They've got enough. That's enough for them to get 30 Skulls, I'm pretty sure. It might suck a bit to get 30 Skulls with just hookshot and bomb bag, but they can, I think.
And just
but
in
boomerang
case...
does help.
Yeah. Alright, and this is Angle leaving Deku as Pyra is entering in, gonna realize how many items there is in Deku Tree. Deku is on the way the hero to Morpha, so that hookshot actually fulfills that path right there, because you do need 2 hookshots and iron boots, and sometimes the Zora tunic to get logical water temple completed.
Yep. Zora tunic not report today because the central pillar has been hinted to be dead. We do have a number of logic tricks to set in the randomizer, so there is default logic, and then there are a number of logical tricks to add strats that are less intuitive, maybe a little bit too wacky, and potentially in some often difficult. So we don't necessarily include them in default logic because that might be a bit mean to expect of new players. But for more experienced players, we usually have a set of tricks turned on in most race settings, one of which is fewer tunic requirements. So you don't need a Goron tunic to pass the Death Mountain Crater, you don't need a Zora tunic to do the Swirly Water Room in GTG, nicknamed the Toilet, or things like Lab Dive or Zora's Fountain, Icy Waters, or that sort of thing. You only need Fire Temple, Goron tunic for the deeper parts of Fire Temple, and Volvagia in these settings, and the Zora tunic is only required for the Central Pillar of Water.
Now the question is, we do have DC on a non-required medallion. Do you still do that for those hints, or for the checks in there, and you get a hint?
I might honestly do that for the checks, the hint, and the skulls. There's a lot of quick skulls in there, and we are looking. I'm really staring at a 30 skull strength right now because Forest Temple's completable once we have a strength upgrade.
Oh, that is interesting.
Because right now, aside from Deku, we can't finish any of our required dungeons. We can't even physically get in the door of Water Temple. We have exactly 0 Colossus access again.
And we
got
found
another bow. The 100%! Wahoo! But yeah, we have the Door of Water. We can't even get to Colossus for Spirit, again. And we don't have any strength or Forest Temple right now, but we know where one is. So I'm wondering, at what point do you decide to start rushing skulls? And DC has a bunch of quick skulls for both runners. You know you're likely to need the skulls for Twinrova anyway, so I might start considering that for our runners here. No Sunsong makes it stink a bit, though. They know they're not getting that.
Yeah, I mean, between the dungeons that they have access to at the moment, they could even dip into Forest Temple with that Song of Time, get into the courtyard. I mean...
That is also 4 more quick skulls, yeah, too.
And it's progression, so you might as well.
Yeah, do Forest, do DC, start a Skulls hunt for real, because they need it.
There's the light for Angle.
Yeah, because we still have somewhat limited dungeon access. I mean, we could go do... We have DC, but, like, Fire, unfortunately, is the light med, so even though it is accessible, we're not... And we even have a wallet for not doing Fire today, as much as that would actually be nice for checks. There's the other copy of the Sunsong Grave Hint for Angle, which is good because Pyra found his copy in Back Lake.
So both of our runners...
City has, because that could also be that could be a strength as well for because that's Path to Twinrova. Though Angle, I don't believe ever got those hints.
Yeah, this is Angle did skip those 2 hints, which unfortunately both were behind the Deku tree.
Thankfully, he's doing Child Goron City, which is the easier to miss of the 2 areas. Because Adult Goron City you're passing through anyway, most likely to get the Song Crater if nothing else. But Child Goron City can be harder. Then when you're running out of checks this hard, you just recently got bombed back at a Deku, and you finished Deku tree, you're going here.
Yeah,
it's not
unfortunately.
Goron, that said.
There's going to be 2 orphan checks.
Darunia and that pot.
Yeah. Oh, but he's actually going to check the maze. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot we don't have ZL too. That might be in DMC.
Which is accessible now.
It is. We have a bomb bag. Well, it's been accessible for a bit. We could have blown up Link the Goron with a bow, but... See, hover boots, Path to Twinrova, question mark, as we see the other Spirit Path to Morpha hint here. I'm not sure I want to see hover boots Path to Twinrova game. That's vaguely concerning.
Let's maybe there's just another strength in there. Maybe it's on the adult side.
Could be Longshot and Spirit hovers across the waste, and that's also possible off Alpha if Requiem is someplace annoying. But that also could just be, you know, Forest Medallion Shadow. Which they would like to not dip. We already have Dins as well. We don't have Nocturne, we know that's behind DL, we need Nocturne, but we need Seal for the back half of Shadow anyway.
And Pyra following up shortly behind. Now, this
is a forest dip for Angle, which makes a lot of sense.
You get your skulls, you get for aggression. I mean, it's a good play.
Yeah. So that's the thing, though. Like, even though Angle did do Child Goron City and, in fact, has these hovers, not knowing that the hovers are a potential path to Twinrova could be a really big difference for his routing. For good or for worse, we don't know, but that could be a problem. If it turns out you do need to go into Shadow Temple, unrequired Shadow for example, Mirror Shield, and he doesn't know that, that might end up playing into his route, but we'll have to see. For right now, that's fine. 10 skulls for Angle, so we are 1/3 of the way to that strength and 30.
Yeah, once you know you're 30 early on, it's very, very quick you start racking up those skull counts. You get to the 30 way quicker than you imagine when you get those skulls hinted early in the game at the Skull House.
Yeah. Gonna be a little trickier since they don't have Sunsong and they know they're never getting Sunsong on Burning Cat, but they know how to do so without it. Just annoying. This is going to be actually Engel's going to be living here with 13 skulls, assuming he gets all the one both from the courtyard. So that'll be nice. 13 from here. He can get 4 quick ones in DC. I don't know if he'll necessarily get the steer skull because that's a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
We can get 4 quick ones from DC, which will put him to 17, and then good luck finding ones in the overworld, I guess. Beyond that, they don't have very good dungeon access for skulls right now. Don't have, well, they have some, but it's not the best. We do have 2 small keys in the first 2 checks for Angle.
This is just as much as you expect from Forest Temple.
Yep. Keys early, items late, pretty much the standard.
I do, in fact, like what Angle's doing with Forest Temple, choosing to go to the Wall Master, or the Floor Master, first, and then jumping off into the courtyard and clearing the courtyard. Which just makes a little bit more sense. It is a little quicker.
Yeah, this can be your logical courtyard access, depending on your item and key layout, as a side note as well, so it can trip people up.
You know, with logical 30 skulls, if 30 skulls are in logic, then, which I'm pretty sure they are at this point.
Boomerang, hookshot, we've got explosives, we're fine. We probably don't even need both boomerang and hookshot plus the explosives. I think just 2 out of 3 would do it for them.
Yeah, I can imagine those hovers are not being hinted towards this check in particular then.
I'd be surprised, yeah, no.
It is a key. So that just leaves a big question mark now.
Yeah. Prayer's also going into forest, which makes sense. Get skulls, get checks. Why not? And they both know that they have to be looking at skulls, especially because they still don't have a lot of dungeon access to do, despite finding a bunch of things this child. They're still a little limited. Because this game is mean.
So that is currently Angle at 12 and Pyra at 14.
So Pyra will be leaving here with 17 skulls. So Pyra has a 4 skull lead on Angle right now. They'll be at 17 and 21 out of DC, which I'm assuming they're going to soonish. And you might pick up a couple on the way. They can get some on DMT as well. The time of day really stinks for these guys.
Yeah, things can change if ZL is just in the crater as well.
Yeah, that too, which would help. And good point from chat. Pyra said it tonight before coming here because he got the skull from OGC. You can also get the skulls in the SFM Lost Woods and Kiri. Probably get. I think I would absolutely get them in this position. You don't have a lot to do, and you're running out of checks. So.
Is this okay? Is this 3 key?
This is 3 key force for.
Oh my goodness!
We do a free scarecrow on these settings, and the scarecrow over there in here in forest, it requires you to be at a minimum height value to actually summon it. Which if you're not up on the ledge where the scarecrow is, the only other real way to get the height needed to summon the scarecrow is to stand on top of that door frame, because this is a well-coded video game, as we get Nehrooms.
I've got to personally thank Angle after this. It's been so long since I've seen that on Restream. That's not easy to do, by the way. Angle just made it look easy.
That is a very precise trick with the hovers to get on top of that door frame. But yeah. OT is a well-coded video game, and you need to be at a very specific height value to summon that scarecrow, basically. It's a little silly. This is not default logic to summon that scarecrow to get up there. Because that is a lot harder of a strat than Angle made it look.
So you notice Angle is actually skipping a key there. Because he won't need it.
Yep, this strat does allow you to skip a key, which is why it's known as, in fact, 2 keys, actually, which is why it's known as 3 key forest.
Oh, this could be huge. That's a big chest.
Oh, we'll see if Pyra does the same. I know Pyra also knows 3 key forest, but I don't know if he'll do it.
What if this is a strength lock strength?
No! Okay. Magic. Interesting. Does that send Angle to Shadow anyway?
As soon as you get, oh wow! As soon as if you get ZL in the crater, that is huge.
Because that's a very good find. It's very out. It's in logic technically, just not with because we know 30's in Oak. That is an in logic magic technically. We have 30 skulls in.
That's oh wow.
And there's a, I mean, it's a 50-50 CL in the crater. It's that or Colossus, and we have 0 Colossus access. We have 0 Colossus access, and there's a good chance our Colossus access is behind ZL. So between OOT and Composer and Prelude behind Nocturne. So yeah.
At this point, I want to see ZL and DMC. Normally, I would root for ZL and Colossus, but I really want to see ZL and DMC, or give us Requiem in the crater
to get a ZL at Colossus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rush Shadow sounds like a great play to me. Same here, Alfalfa. Not ironically, I would rush Forest Battalion Shadow in these guys' position. I'm not trying to do three key forests, so he might put off that magic for a while longer. Which isn't necessarily a bad play. It's not one you necessarily want to do per se. I find it funny that Angle did do so because it is just the one check in the sequence break. So it's a one check and it's not a sequence break that's going to be a huge difference maker frequently in these settings necessarily, though it can be if you find an item like magic. But that particular strategy, that particular trick matters a lot more when you have key sanity on. Because that removes the requirement for 2 keys.
The chances that, one, being able to pull off the trick without having strength. 2, the chances that it gives you an item that could potentially get you 1 dungeon ahead of everybody. It's so low that trick actually pays off. And it's so nice to see.
That's a regular bottle on the volcano. But that is also our first bottle, which gives us even better access to our skulls.
Oh, Rush Ice. You got hovers.
Rush Ice with no checks. Almost.
Looks like a heart piece in the wall up there in the crater.
Yep.
It's ZL.
Alright, we are rushing Shadow Temple for everyone, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, this is so good.
Well, go check Edelgoran City, do DC probably on the way to CAC, but you've got the Shadow has to be a play for him, especially since he got the magic where he did capitalize on that sequence break, which you know is which could make a huge difference for you in this race and give you a big advantage. You have to take it. You have to make use of that to hopefully get ahead, which honestly it probably is, even though he doesn't have the Goron City Path of Twin Rope ahead. We know that hovers are quite likely to be that item.
Yeah,
and the main thing hovers lock is Shadow Temple, so...
Yeah, that's... And also, you got more skulls in Shadow, very easily accessible. You're not holding off on your skull routing while you're doing that. In fact, you're just adding them to your route.
Yep. There's a couple checks technically, logically strength lock and Shadow, but absolutely nobody cares.
Yeah, once we get in Shadow, you'll see a really cool trick to pretty much skip all the strength lock checks inside of Shadow.
And also, yes, Alfalfa, Angle has forgotten that DMC is foolish. Whoops.
That's okay. There's not many in there anyway.
No. You look at a hint here, which tells us... Thanks!
The inevitable hint.
And we did know already that Zora's reverse. Meaning Froxy was dead by extension. Next game.
And so that's I mean, we still need to know what our Ocarina of Time song is, but that's pretty much all of our always hints there.
OOT is a sometimes hint with these win cons.
Okay.
Because Burning Cack is the one that's the song always hit because you need the 3 stones no matter what. This
does look like Angle is choosing the skip DC.
Which also can make sense. He wants to try and take advantage of that magic he sequence broke for, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the DC's always going to be there.
Depending on what he finds. 20 skulls for Pyra.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Pyra's been going hard for them. Pyra is, after all, very skilled at skull routing. Pyra has been in the was I think either a semifinalist or finalist. I'm presently having a spectacular brain fart. Apologies if you watch this back, Pyra. But if it wasn't the final few rounds of the most recent season of the Random Settings League, where there is frequently Skull Sanity on, then you absolutely need to know where all 100 skulls in the game are in the RSL.
Very strong runner in pretty much anything they do.
So Pyra knows where all the skulls are and is very good at rounding them. It is not an issue. Angel's gonna check 10 skulls, which Pyra already checked, I think. Yeah.
Strength!
Oh no, apparently not, because strength 1!
Wow!
I guess we're going back to Forest Temple.
Well, I mean, you're right here. You might as well do Shadow, go back, finish Forest. I mean, which one's more enjoyable at this point?
I mean, you probably do Forest first because it's progression, but that's a funny spot.
Oh, yeah, Shadow's not required.
Yeah, but you still might be thinking about Shadow, so that... That
That's
might
interesting.
be bad. Yeah, that might push... Like, Angle, I was thinking with Rush Shadow because he's taking advantage of that magic, but now that he knows his strength is just on 10 skulls, he might not rush that magic as hard because he knows that everyone's getting that magic fairly quickly, given that everyone's doing skulls today.
Yeah, that just took the advantage away. I wouldn't be shocked to see Angle now.
I mean, he still might go there
Nocturne
anyway at some point. I mean, he's grabbing Nocturne while he's here, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he might put off Shadow for longer than ideal because now he knows his magic is not as big as an advantage as he thought it was 5 minutes ago. Unfortunately. It was a really good play for him at the time, but it just turns out the random third. I mean, nobody skips 10 skulls in this seed. I don't think. Like, you are getting 10 skulls, and you're on the way to 30. Especially with a seed that was this bottlenecked this early. You're getting 10 skulls. That is not something people will miss.
Yeah, I can imagine that quite a few runners have already gotten that 10 skull.
Oh yeah, that is not elite strength. Like, we're 55 minutes in. There are people who get that 10 skulls checked much earlier, especially given how bottlenecked the seed was early. You might just decide to start rushing those skulls as soon as possible.
Yeah, you get pretty bad PTSD from previous seeds whenever you see 30 skulls being a strength, so...
Yeah, especially, Spirit's a required dungeon. You can't not play for 30 skulls being a strength upgrade when Spirit's required. Like, what's the chance that there's both other strengths available?
I would love to see 20 pay out with Mirror Shield.
Unfortunately, hinted dead.
Oh, 20. Oh, yeah, you're right.
But, yeah. Pyro's going to get the DMT skulls here on the way to DC, so this is going to be this
really
one
efficient.
here. This is technically out of logic without a hammer, but he doesn't care because he knows there are 30 skulls in logic. It doesn't matter if he gets which specific ones he gets, he just knows there are enough to put it in. And then he's going to get the one above DC with the hookshot extension here. Again, this is more of OOT has really funky collision.
Oh, maybe
no,
not.
He's not going to get the DMT one, okay.
It can be finicky sometimes, so I can understand skipping it.
That's true. I'm a little surprised because he's passing right by it, and I know for a fact he knows how to do hookshot extension for that because, again, RSL, that comes up fair bit. Not going to hurt him too, but he knows he can get 30 anyway. It's not a huge deal. That was his 22nd skull on the upper DMT skull.
Yeah,
He'll be at 26 coming out of here.
When he's done here, he's definitely going to go get that strength, go right back into Forest, just like Angle.
I mean, yeah, there's no other reason not to. Pick up Nocturne while you're in CAC, of course, because
yeah.
This was a strength upgrade in the ROTR Franklin tournament just come hitting yesterday, by the way, the Pierre skull. Bomb back for Angle is not going to help with anything.
A strength 3 would have been fun, though.
Strength 3 would have been fun, yeah. There's another, that's skull 24 for Pyra. Now, we do still have some items and a couple keys left here in the Forest Temple, so... we'll see how this goes. We did find the boss key earlier in the courtyard, so we won't be looking for that.
I will say doing 3-key forest, being able to split up forest the way that Angle did, definitely makes it way more fun and interesting than a typical forest.
That is true.
You almost don't even realize you were in there.
Yeah. Pyra getting more bomb juice in DC. Did he check the DC hint or not? I didn't quite see.
I don't remember.
I think he did, but I'm not completely sure. There's another key for Angle. Pyra did not check the hint. Okay. We're just curious because we are still missing one path and two sometimes, single sometimes hints.
Now, unfortunately, not having a long shot, Pyra won't be able to get this skull here in this room in particular. The long shot will let you get that skull that's in that crevice at the very top of the screen on Pyra's side. But, I mean, you could technically get it if you beat DC and kind of worked your way back around from...
But it's really, really slow.
Yeah, I don't see Pyra doing that, especially skipping that skull right outside of DC.
Yeah, no, you're not. If you skip the skull above DC, you are not going all the long way around for the DC stair skull.
I guess it just depends on how hard you want to push your skulls.
Hey, it's Nicholas Lucille and Reiki with a party of two. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. We are having fun in Forest Temple for Angle and DC for Pyra here. Finding! Hi! That's useless.
Oh, and this is where Angle's going to be able to just save, quit, go back to the beginning of Forest, and he's pretty much done. He's just got to go to the basement and beat Phantom Ganon.
Big chest for Pyra. This could be interesting.
More bomb shoes?
No, our other wallet. Thanks. We don't need it.
I guess you could buy more bomb shoes.
Yeah, once we get access to the, crossing the Gerudo Bridge. Yeah, we are happy 1 hour, everyone. We're an hour in. I've got strengths on 10 and 30 skulls, I think, is the funniest thing about this seed.
Yeah, I would like to go and thank our trackers today who are tracking. We have Baseball and Shannock. We would also like to thank our runners who are currently on Restream. We've got Angle here on the left side and Pyra, two pretty crazy runners. And we did have our choice with an insane amount of people who are playing this qualifier today. So thank you to everybody else who is going and doing that qualifier as we speak. And thank you, Star, for joining me here on comms.
As well as thank you, Oak. It's been good fun. Our first time here together. This is a fun seed. This seed did a very early bottleneck into Song of Storms and Saria to go do the well for Bomb Bag and Kokiri Sword to then go get a collection of items out of the Deku Tree. And then you pretty much have to rush 10 skulls, get 10 skulls on your rush to 30 skulls because Spirit's a stone and you need strengths two strengths to beat that, so you're doing 30. I hope there's no reason not to do it in this seed, so. And then that's got us where we're at, basically, with Angle is in Deep Forest here, about to finish it up.
Yeah, now
just in the basement, and that is his 15th skull. He is a fair bit behind on that right now.
How many is he
doing? 15.
Really? Okay.
He's been rushing those much less than Pyra has. Pyra's been very diligent with that time of day management and going to OGC and all that for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Angle's not been rushing it as hard, which I mean is fine for now. We still can't physically get to Spirit Temple without Colossus access, but
yeah, I mean,
will probably need that 30 eventually. Still.
He is doing progression. He's pretty much an entire forest ahead of Pyra at the moment. But as soon as Pyra's done here with DC, he's going to go turn in 10. I don't see him holding out until he has 30 to go pick up 10 and 30. Hopefully he doesn't.
I mean, there's not that much left for him to do right now, so no. The big thing for Pyra is that he has the hint that hovers our potential path to Twin Rova. We haven't seen anything else in Goron City, so that's currently the most likely path. I mean, it could be Childgoran City, but right now that's a really long hike for one check. Or, well, both checks, I guess, now since DFCL, but that's just not something you really want to do, even with if you have the path hint, so we're going to be putting that off for a bit.
I mean, what's even nastier is when do you go back into the bottom of the well and check the ZL checks?
Oh, jeez. That would be bad.
I'm pretty sure those will be orphaned off from pretty much every runner for quite a while.
Yep. Backa Forest was a bust other than that magic, it looks like. The sea was also a bust, unfortunately, for Pyra. But honestly, it makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised to see Angle at least dip DC looking for those skulls at some point. The 4 in the front are there's 3 in the front that are pretty quick. The 4th is a little quick, longer in the back. Right now, though, it looks like Angle might be heading to Shadow Temple, which is fair, honestly. It's still the Duds' play, and even if that magic isn't as big an advantage as he originally thought it was when he 3-key forested for it.
He did put on a show, though.
Yes, he did. That was very impressive. Alright, and...
Oh.
Rayleard?
Pyra? Maybe turn in 10?
Yeah, I was gonna say Pyra. Okay, I was wondering, I was like, Pyro might have been going to outside Gan's Castle, which does set your time of day to dusk. But no, good. Check. Oh, getting Nocturne here. Nocturne, please. Pyro, please get 10 skulls. You need a strength upgrade there.
This is all part of his master plan. We just have to accept that at this point.
To be fair as well, Pyra is only 4 skulls off. He might just be putting it off for 4 skulls, which honestly isn't unreasonable at this point. I mean,
yeah, if he's gonna go back child, then he could pick up those skulls relatively quickly.
I don't know that he will. If 4 skulls is quick as adult, he can do things like there's a tree, there's the grotto outside Cack under the tree. He can get the adult Cack skull at night. There's a couple in river he could get.
There's 4 in particular that he could use for kind of a child cleanup, and it does involve bottom of the well. He could get the 3 in bottom of the well, the 1 in graveyard, and hit his 30 right there, as well as clean up the last ZL checks in bottom of the well.
You could, but that's a bit long.
It is. It's nasty, but
I would favor the adult Cack skull, the tree out, the grotto outside Cack, and then maybe river for the last 2. Like, those are fairly quick, 4 skulls.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, river is foolish, but it's not too long to walk up and just grab the skulls there with hookshot. Like, well, skulls are absolutely not the fastest to get. Go ahead.
Just looks like 1 key in the back of Shadow here. Well, I guess in the start of Shadow.
I was gonna say, that's not the back!
Sorry, I've been playing with too much dungeon skips. With the what are they called? The dungeon shortcuts. Thank you. Too much of that. Which is
it's still not the back, even the shortcuts. Alright, I think though this is likely a river play for Pyre for those 2 skulls.
You can also get
a
the
nice
one in
play
Lost
as well, actually. He got the one from Lost Woods already.
Oh wow.
Coming out of Forest. As I mentioned, very experienced RSL runner, is really good at routing skulls.
Yeah.
I think this might be a play towards ice, actually, come to think of it, with that bottle.
Oh, that's really good. That's 3 skulls right there. Well, 4. It's nighttime. Yeah, you could get the one inside of Zora's Domain as well. So that's your 4 right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Domain, you can get one in Upper River here if you really care to. Yeah, this will be. And a few quick checks. Well, relatively quick. Going to be Orphan and King Zora a bit hard, but that's fine.
I like this. I like it. I mean, you do know that the last 2 checks in ice are, in fact, foolish. You don't need those 2 checks. So you just go get your quick 3 checks there. You know Zora's Fountain is foolish. So you're getting 4 checks and 4 skulls.
Yep. And that'll put Pyro to 30, and then he's going to probably be a little grouchy about seeing this going on 10. But I actually don't fault him for not getting 10 when he's so close to 30.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a misplay in this case, but it's understandable. Just get both at once when you're so close to it. This could pay off big time for Pyro, because Ice Cavern is not the most appealing of plays in this seed, given Fountain's foolish, and we know the last 2 checks of ice are dead. Big key boss key for Angle. I've been commentating way too much LTDPR today, where that's called the big key. It's boss key in OTR, big key in the LTDPR. I don't know why Zelda isn't consistent with that naming, but anyway.
Either way, it's just a BK. Unless we're talking BK mode, and that's completely different.
Burger King mode. The thing in multi-worlds where you're stuck waiting for your multi-world partners to find you stuff so you can do things. Took a few tries to part did get the King's Aura skip there. This was not in logic, but is a thing you can do. GTG toilet's dead.
Nice hint. Can't even get there.
Nope. We still don't have a way across the Gerudo Valley Bridge. And they would like one at some point, given that we're getting close to Spirit Temple access otherwise.
Now imagine Strength 3 is just here in ice. That would be
such the troll. Both for Pirate and for everyone else playing the seed, given how not obvious the Ice Cavern is this seed. Like, I don't know how many other people will rush 30 quite as hard as Pyra has. I think a lot of people play the way Angle didn't get 10 fairly quickly, and then 30 a little more slowly.
Yeah,
so
prioritizing checks there.
People will not. Yeah, so people will not quite get 30 so fast that you miss out on 10 for a bit just to get both at once, which makes a lot of sense from Pyra's position. Unfortunately, might turn out to be like a 5 or 6 minute time sink here. In Ice Cavern particularly. DC I wouldn't call too much of a time loss. You have to get the skulls from somewhere after all. This is why people will dip at least the front of DC for those 3 skulls, but...
Yeah, and you got yourself the second wallet, which means that most likely none of your path hints are going to be leading towards a Zora Tunic.
Well, water pellet.
Yeah, that is well.
Anyhow, so.
I always forget that.
Small just here for Pyra, gonna get a blue fire and head out. Yeah, I wouldn't entirely be surprised to see Angle go to go for DC after, depending on what he does or doesn't find here.
Oh, these keys are not being nice.
No, they are not for Pyra.
Have we seen anything in Shadow?
We have not. We've been talking about a whole lot of things, but Shadow Temple's items have not been among them. Angle's found a lot of junk. I don't even think there's been like a slingshot or something in here.
I can only imagine. I mean, it's gonna unlock one of, 2, 3 songs here, and we're kind of hoping for either Epona's or Requiem at this point.
It's a 2 and 3 chance some of those 2 is behind Prelude, yeah. We know hovers are path to Twinrova, though Angle doesn't, so it would make sense that hovers are path to Twinrova just to bait Shadow for the access on Prelude.
Yeah, that would be nice. And
Pyra's out of here. He's going to be very grumpy in about 30 seconds with the strength.
Thing still needs one more skull.
He'll get it from the Adelcac skull, it's not an issue.
Ah, yes, the last skull. The last skull you ever route in your skull routes. Still no dice with Angle.
No, this has been a snooze.
Very clean Shadow, I must say.
Yeah, and that's to be expected for runners of this skill level.
Yes.
Yeah, this has been a snooze of a Shadow Temple.
Canonical final skull.
At least you're probably going here anyway. I think a lot of people will get that path, and it's also just a density play. Plus, there still remains that there is just not a lot of stuff to do this seed.
And strength. Like, oh, game.
Yeah.
And strength 2.
Yeah. I think there was a bit of a pause there processing. Wait, game? Really? Did I seriously just get 2 strengths back to back? But yeah, we still don't have a lot to do, impressively. Strength 2 does not itself directly give us anything whatsoever without a way across the Gruta Valley Bridge. So I'm pretty sure it's very strongly indicated that it's behind our Prelude song at this point. It's a 2 in 3 chance we are missing Bolero, Requiem, and Epona song. One of those 3 is beyond Prelude. And 2 of those give us Galactus access, so it's gonna be it's gotta be one of those 2 at this point. What else? Because what else do we have to do? Adult Lake?
Adult Lake, still on the board. I mean, the best
Adult Lake,
possible combination for songs.
Assorted Grotto Cleanup, Child Goron City. I mean, there's not a lot left.
I mean, I was advocating for the bottom of the well Zelda's Lullaby checks.
Yeah, I mean, it's either Colossus access at Prelude, which is almost certain, given something's got to be locking Tornrova and Goron City, and the only thing we found there is Hover, so it could just be Child Goron City. Yeah, something's got to turn up eventually, because we're running out of checks again.
Yeah, the best possible song combination for Angle here would actually be Requiem upon the Prelude check, then Epona's song upon the Requiem check. Yep. And that would give you all of your songs that, actually do something.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the big chest. I think it's the first big chest here in Shadow. He's so excited to get it.
And this...
No! Oh, game.
Oh, Myra's gonna be so mad when he sees that.
Oh my goodness. Pyra, just do us a favor. Don't even look in back Shadow. You're gonna save yourself so much pain.
Oh my goodness, Gabe. That was a strength upgrade in the back of Shadow there for Angle.
We know all 3. Well, now Angle knows where all 3 strengths are, so that's good information for him. He's probably gonna slow down a little bit on skulls. Just grab the dungeon ones that make sense.
I mean, at this point, it's a very low. The only thing Strength 3 locks is probably light arrows. We don't know for sure about OGC, but
light arrows are already gotten.
Oh, we know we have light arrows. The only thing. Never mind that. So the only thing that Strength 3 locks is OGC. Outside Gan's Castle, because we can't get into, because it's 3-stone bridge in our remaining, and we've already gotten our Shadow Medallion, so it's not. And the items, Light Trial cannot lock our stones.
Yeah, it's 1 check at this point, so Angle might just stop grabbing skulls altogether.
I would not entirely be surprised at this point. Pyra's... Now I just feel bad for Pyra, who's done a really good job of routing skulls and has just gotten really unlucky with both other strength upgrades.
It's so hard to judge with these skull seeds.
It really is. Like, I don't fault Pyra in the slightest. That his routing has made a lot of sense for him, and he's done a really good job routing it. Unfortunately, both other strengths seem to be available pretty quickly. He's gonna be really bad at that one in Shadow, I know. I would be too in his position. Having rushed 30 skulls and then found both others freely available. It's like, game, could you not? Like, I just rushed 30 skulls for nothing. Well, maybe not nothing in the sense that rushing 30 did get you 10 on the way, but he also knows that everyone who did 10 slower would have done that in the Shadow one and then just skipped the 31 and saved some time on the farming.
Yeah, this is a situation where sometimes your skill actually kind of gets in the way of what the seed wants you to do.
Yeah, because like Angle has... Yeah, because Pyra's rushed skulls very hard, which appeared to be the right play up until about 3 minutes ago. And suddenly it looks like he wasted 10 minutes in DC and Ice, unfortunately. In DC, Ice, and just other loose ends, rushing skulls, just unfortunately, probably did not pay out. On the other hand, everyone who didn't rush 30 skulls quite as hard is hoping that they don't have anything on OGC today.
So now we're actually going to be able to get the Prelude check. I'm hoping for Requiem here.
I vote opponents. And it's opponent. No, that's right. Wrong orange song. So
Nice.
that is Colossus access. And we're going to see it for us. We're going to see a Spirit Dip at this point. We do know Spirit is Pathomorphous. I think it hasn't really been relevant until now because we couldn't get Spirit Temple access until right this second. So we'll see what's here. We are missing both Irons and Longshot for Spirit, so it's like a good chance at least one of them is here.
Yep, and we still need Mirror for Spirit Temple. So
that can be basically anywhere, given it hovers or path for Requiem. Whoops for Pyra.
It's a hard thing to do.
It is. Angle also skipping the Colossus hint. He is done with hints apparently.
Yeah, I mean, once you realize, or once you make that decision that you're going to skip hints and just focus on, I'm going to full clear the game faster than anybody else, then, that's a decision that you make. And with these top tier runners, any of them could make it, and it's working out for Angle here.
Yeah. Time to take note on Spirit Keys.
And no key.
Nope, there's the magic for Pyra. Who is probably even saltier about the strike situation, given that. Yeah, because unfortunately Pyra's just has done all of DC and gone ice. Plus, you spent several minutes just going for varying other skills, such as SFM and Lost Woods. That just collectively turned out to be the bad play today. So he's several minutes behind. He's not. I mean, the progression point is very obvious as we find out there's no keys in Adult Spirit. Great! Confirmed Requiem path not only for general access, but specifically for child side, because we have at least one key on that side to continue this dungeon. Thanks, game.
You gotta love the guaranteed time loss there.
Yep. Because there's no way you don't check Adult Spirit after getting Prelude in this situation.
Now, in this case, I would argue that you go do your child cleanup this cycle. You may not have to come back, child. So, go Goron City.
Yeah. Clean up.
Yes, Shadow is required.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way Pyro skips it. He knows hovers are path to Twin Rova. And what else are you going to do with your hover boots besides go Shadow Temple, really?
Yeah, getting the magic here in Forest almost guarantees that Pyro, that's his next play.
I'd be surprised if he goes anywhere else.
Oh, here we go. This is the hint. And that is just a Deku Shield.
I was going to say, that looks vaguely like Iron Boots to me, but I also am terrible at seeing three standings. Pyro also knows it's a 1 in 3. It's a 2 in 3 chance of Spirit X is it prettied anyway, since he's got all his other songs, so. Speaking of which, of songs, Angle hasn't gone the win at Colossus, so neither Opponent nor Opponents is immediately helpful right now, so it might not be the biggest issue.
It is also something that runners sometimes forget when they're in the heat of the moment here.
They just forget to walk back out of the Spirit Temple.
Maybe he just has a feeling that it's Bolero and he's not going to need it.
Bolero is completely useless at this point, especially with Fire being the light man. They do not need it. As expected, there's a key there. It has to be at least one because, as mentioned, the game does guarantee that you can beat it. So you cannot get yourself locked out by keys.
Looks like just one key. So
that
this
is...
Oh,
oops!
Don't roll on that bridge. That will happen every single time. Okay, never mind, Angle. Just prove me wrong. Oh, there goes the shield. Luckily, there's another shield for you on top of Colossus Arch if you ever need it.
And there's also not much else left to do as child.
Yeah, so we could pretty much confirm that those hover boots are Way of the Hero, or Path in this case, for Twin Rova here for logical spirit access. So
I mean, it's confirmed because with the key on child side, even if Longshot shows up somewhere that's not, even Longshot shows up somewhere that's not behind hovers, you still need Requiem specifically for that child side key.
I love those seeds where you get, in this case, say you got the mirror shield and you got hover boots inside of Goron City. Then you're sitting there trying to think, okay, what is this one pointing towards? Is it pointing towards the mirror shield, or is it a coincidence that hovers are also in here?
Yeah. Serenade for Pyra, interesting.
It's the adult lake checks we've been talking about.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, it doesn't have time of day for Shoot the Sun, which is an absolutely terrible check without Sun Song. But he is going to go do this before Shadow Temple, it looks like, which might pay off as we get a big chest for Angle. Oop.
Come on, just show us the mirror shield. You know you want to.
That would be pretty funny. And we do have another small key as well as thanks!
We got bomb bag and bow percent.
Lovely.
1 hour 20.
We've got bomb bag percent, we've got bow percent, and we are missing. What are we missing for go mode? Long shot, irons or irons or gold scale and mirror shield.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds about right.
We know that one of irons or long shot is probably here in Water Temple or Water Spirit Temple. We don't know where the other is, and we don't know where gold scale is. And mirror shield is also MIA.
Pyra is not having it with the Gwei.
Nope. That Gwei does like to troll quite hard. More nothing here. Spirit is most likely fire locked today.
Which is fine.
Yep, we've got Din, so it's not an issue.
No crazy tricks being pulled out today.
Yeah, because we mentioned logic. Spirit has some of the most complex key logic in the game, outside of some things like shortcuts or whatnot, which could make a real mess of Shadow Temple key logic, for instance. Or Master Quest key logic's a whole other mess. But Vanilla Spirit has some of the most complicated key logic that you'll usually see in races, because you can exercise both ages, and there's about a dozen different items that can be logically relevant for this place. Good luck.
Yep. You haven't played a seed until you get long shot hinted for Spirit Temple, and it's just a key on Child Hand.
Yep. And I'm not kidding, like, the number of items that can be logically required. Bow, slingshot, and boomerang for projectiles. Hookshot, bombs. You've got strength upgrades, you've got fire arrows, Din's fire, mirror shields, magics. There's like 10 different items you could potentially need for this place. It's a little silly.
Yeah, you could potentially clear this with absolute minimum items, or the game may logically require so many.
Yeah. Yeah, ZL, hookshot, and longshot separately, fire arrows, bow, magic. There's such a long list of things, it's a little silly.
We are seeing some tricks today. Angle ran out of magic. Not enough magic here, so we're going to see a really cool trick here, where you're going to backflip and shoot the bow midair and hit the torch that Angle is facing right now.
Yeah, this is not in default logic. This is a trick because, as you can see, it's a little bit silly. Though it's not quite as as silly looking as the strat in the main room with the map chest. Because that one involves an Armos push, which never fails to crack me up.
All for nothing.
Because of course the game does that. We do have 4 small keys, no boss key yet here. 5th key can be in a couple places still. We also still don't have that path item, whatever it is.
I would like to see Hammer.
Hammer would be hilarious, because it locks very, very little with Light Med Fire, but the things it does lock are like, game, why?
I would like to see Hammer required for GTG. Come on, just give it to us.
Fun.
If you don't know, there is one Hammer locked check inside of GTG. It's in the back right of GTG. It logically requires a hammer. You could do it without a hammer. You could just run through the fire. It is a chest surrounded by fire.
Yeah, with the invincibility frames, because again, OOT is a well-coded video game, but logically it requires a hammer to knock down the pillars, even though basically nobody does it. Outside of a one-hit KO or something, maybe. Vanilla boss key here. I'm surprised Angle skipped the invisible chests and the left hand of the Colossus.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just ran straight up here.
Probably
he might be going back down because he doesn't have mirror shield. That would probably be why. Oops.
There we go.
So for Rosius can come back with mirror shield later. Assuming mirror shield isn't just here in spirit, which it might be.
We're still looking for one more key. So
yep. 4 armors or invisible chests will have it. The particulars of why I know that's where the 5th key has to be is under small spirit key logic. It's too long to explain here in voice right now.
I mean, we could pull out the sheet of paper.
Invisibles gives us our long shot.
Nice. And there's our access to GTG, assuming that Opponents is not on the Requiem check here. Which we still haven't found out.
Yeah, because Angle has not done that yet. He's probably going to jump off the hands and maybe check the song, maybe, and then reverse Wasteland to GTG after this, I think, because that's the next census play here.
That makes sense. Did we get a Wasteland hint?
Nope, not on this seed. Just checked our notes, because I wasn't sure.
Look at that. Just reading the runner.
And isn't even going to check the song. Angle, hello!
It's Bolero. It can't hurt us. We're just assuming here.
Until it's a bonus song and something's on HBE again. This is just a straight up raid far from Angle on that, by the way. This isn't a deliberate skip so much as I don't think he's consciously skipping it, at least. This is probably just he's got other places to be and is autopiloting out without getting it.
Yeah, dipping in the spirit twice. Pretty much click.
Speaking of the hammer.
Oh boy. I was kidding, Gabe. I was kidding.
Well, you asked for it and you got it.
Oh, this is so good.
Be careful what you ask for, Oak.
I'll remember that for next time.
And yeah, hammer has been located. We do know Fire's Light Man and is pre-completed, so we don't have to worry about that. There are a few checks it locks. And yeah, Pyro's progressing apace through Shadow Temple. Nothing really to be said there. There's absolutely nothing in there besides the Strength 3, which they're going to be very bad about.
Oh, I can't wait. There's going to be shield flicks, and there may be a pause.
There might be a bomb thrown as well if they have it equipped at that point. They will be mad about that.
Man.
Again, I don't fault them for their routing. It just hasn't paid out today, unfortunately, because Rando gonna Rando.
Yeah, you could have just done Shadow Temple, completed it completely, I mean, you're not going to do it in this order, but you could have gotten the Strength from Shadow, which is Strength locked, and then go and do Forest. I mean, but man, these
if you use
strengths.
Rekeyed Forest for the magic meter, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyhow, that magic goes. And Strength 3 is just unfortunate for Pyra. I was going to say, Pyra, don't pull out your Ocarina. You don't want to leave. Hello? Yeah, Angle did still get the skull from Wasteland, which was his 19th, just in case OGC has Mirror Shield. He's not going to rush skulls at this point, but if one is in his face like that one was, you might as well get it. Pyra, on the other hand, is still in skull collecting.
That's more than welcome part.
Pick up the heart piece.
Yeah. Alright,
so the reverse wasteland here is not in default logic. The truck is not on the D setting, so it doesn't much matter because we can go from the front end with long shot or the opponents that may or may not be in Colossus, so not a big deal.
Yep, that is a pretty early trick that you learn. Reverse wastelanding. It's so useful in a lot of your runs, and almost guaranteed every single runner could do that backwards with their eyes closed.
It's one of those tricks that you learn very early in the random just because it's so useful.
It's right there with B1 skip.
Yep.
Now, I'm really curious if Epona Song is actually on Requiem. Because if it is, and there is something on horseback archery, it could burn Angle for a little bit until he realizes he needs to go get that song, if that is the case. But if it's
Bolero... I still
Bolero,
don't know.
Was it a big chest up here, or is he just grabbing the skull?
Big chest. I don't think he's detouring all the way out here just for that skull.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And we find Iron Boots. Alright.
Alright. We are Mirror Shield from Go Mode.
Yes, we are.
And we are still missing a path. And Angle doesn't even have the Goron City path.
No, because he never checked the hits at Deku Tree, and both Goron City paths were there.
I was surprised he didn't check it after Forest either. It's right there.
It is, but if he didn't do it with Deku, he's not doing it with Forest. Alright, let's see. Key here in the GTG lobby. I should track these things. Because that's a big chest in the middle, so they...
Oh boy. Is this going to be a hammerlock? Logically hammerlocked middle chest?
It might be as you find a heart piece. What was the Pierre chest? I'm terrible at spotting that chest.
Oh, this is so good.
You might have curses all with that. Key on Pierre, thank you.
Wait, key on Pierre?
We can peek the chest from across the way from the hidden ceiling chest.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
And there's another key on Stelphos. No, it's Pierre chest because there's a scarecrow up there. Where you get that chest.
Okay. Pyra's taking a nice boat ride to go into Deep Shadow to find their Strength 3. And Angle is just clearing out GTG, hoping to find that Mirror Shield. That Mirror Shield puts Angle in Go Mode. Go Mode, of course, is when all of our runners have all of the items they need to beat the game. And it is just go, go, go. You are no longer making any unrequired checks. You're grabbing the keys if you need them. You're grabbing the boss keys. And you're beating the game. Now, there is a world where I would actually argue, maybe save GTG. Maybe don't do GTG right now. Go do water. You need to do it. It's progression. You can do it. Leave your Ferrer's Win here in GTG. When you're done with water, come back to GTG. but it is a really dense area.
I mean, Angle on the other hand already knows that Essential Pillar is dead, and Pyro additionally knows that Darkling Gerber chests are both dead.
Were they keys
so
or were
there's only
they
4 just dead.
Oh wow.
Like,
Oh
all
wow.
those 3 checks have all been hinted just as deader than dead. They are absolute garbage. As we get gold scale! Thanks, game! Both gold scale and irons in the fortress area.
Oh good.
Thanks, game.
All right. Yeah, their Furor's Wind is at the top of Spirit. Okay, so you're full clearness. It makes sense.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised Angle didn't open the invisible chests there, or did he for the looking for keys? Because he knows center chest is big.
I didn't really see the other chest. Maybe he has enough counted already.
Oh, and that's one on the eye statue, but you do need 7 minutes. You do need 7 to get to them. Middle chest, 9 in logic, but 7 practically. Because he's also not getting the one on the peak on the pier. Hello, Angle? Yeah, is he gonna have enough keys to get that center chest? I'm a little worried.
There's one there. He's already used 1 key.
Yeah, so he's gonna be at 5 total after this room. He needs 7. Did you say 2 on the right side, maybe? Because I'm trying to think where he's got 7 keys at.
Yeah. Maybe there is. Maybe he did see the 2 on the side, if there are 2. And there's another one right there. So
okay, so that's 6. So it might work out, but I'm a little surprised he did that.
Randomizer is all about risks.
Yeah, maybe Shannock. One goes down for Pyra, by the way. Did not shield flick. Pyra just decided he doesn't have the time to go shield flick at the strength rate.
Okay. Angle, are you okay?
That's a good question.
We do know that the toilet here is dead. The toilet is the Silver Rupee room. That is Song of Time locked. You need the Iron Boots to get all the Silver Rupees after playing Song of Time and opening up the Water Pit. You get the Silver Rupee? Okay, it is 2
He's on the right side. Wow, that's kind of funny.
Well, he's got all the keys now.
Yeah, we've seen all 9.
And this will be the last check.
Angle skipped the invisibles, even knowing that they had to be that he had enough keys. But well, yeah. And this is last chest of Further Maze. Pretty sure the invisible chest was scale. Oh my! And I was not paying close attention. I assumed it was the one spawned by those one the other ones, but nah. And yeah, big chests.
Okay, more bomb shoes. I think there's one more set of bomb shoes in the game.
We've seen 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Now, my last seed that I played had vanilla ice arrows in the middle chest here. It's not going to happen this time. We've already seen them. Show us fire.
Fires would be funny.
By the way, this chest is hammerlocked, logically. Just want to say.
Because logic assumes you use the keys in the worst way possible, including 2 on the right side. So you'd need the one that's technically hammerlocked in the fire ring, which gives us here... Our Riddle's Letter is a funny find for Pyra. Jabu's now available. Was that on OG Seed?
Was that Rudo's letter?
Because Pyro just checked A Fairy, and I'm pretty sure that's the one he was in. Game.
Uh-oh. No, Jabu. It's okay. It's alright. He's not going there anytime soon.
Not yet, but knowing that he spent a lot of time rushing 30 skulls that might not have been required, does he try to play to, I spend a load of time on this, should I go rush that to see if I can get an edge on this?
Yes, the sunk cost theory. Yeah.
Because we know he's going Child for Requiem, for Child Spirit anyway. Does he do Jabu then?
Yeah, is he going to be able to cut his losses and skip Jabu and hope
Or does
there's
he
nothing in there.
decide, I spent the time doing this, do I want to see if I can get a further edge on this?
I personally would. I mean, skulls aren't fun to do. Not that they're not fun, but
Because you know people are going to get 10 skulls, but you know you rush 30 very, very hard, probably harder than most people, and that it has so far bit you in the butt to rush 30 skulls this hard, so do you try and make back some of that, or do you just try to cut your losses? I don't know. We'll see from Pyra's side eventually. But that is interesting, because we know Jeb is the water medallion. We know that the Burning Cack is a useless sun song, and we know that but there are 4 items in Jabu.
yeah, I mean, we could just have an oops AD. We were talking about it in the
Jabu was
beginning.
the fire medallion, and DC was the water medallion. Okay, somebody goofed the notes sheet then.
That's okay. They do the
Engel
same
does
thing.
have over 20 skulls, I think, at this point. I know you picked up 19 in the Wasteland, I think it was. Or it might have been 19 in Shadow. He's upwards of 20 at this point, so. Okay, so Pyro has found that he's key locked out of Spirit. Yep, this is expected here. The big question is, how much of Child does he do right now?
I would say go back to Goron City. Just in case. Clear it out. Also, you can route in Jabu while you're doing it. You spent a lot of time on those skulls. You might as well.
Mm-hmm. Right now, Pyro's really hoping that this Mirror Shield is somewhere stupid, so people who ratted like Engel can go do the checks Pyro's already done, like DC and Ice Cavern. Because Pyro's presently probably at least 10 minutes behind because of those dips that just didn't pay out. Or, well, dips I want to call it, but it's really skull routing that just so far has not paid out for him.
Which at the time, those were good plays.
Our final sometimes it tells us that Shadow Child is the fire arrows. Vanilla Bosky here for Angle and Water, but that's really funny game. Really funny. Because one of the only things in the game that fire arrows can be required for in these settings is going to be the Shadow Trial 2 chest.
Oh, is that what the hint was for? Shadow Trial 2 had fire arrows?
Yes.
Oh my.
Gabe's got a sense of humor today, apparently.
I mean, that's the best possible hint you could have gotten.
When you've got everything except where you need to beat your stones. Yes, totally. And yeah, Engel's still looking for the other item.
Yeah, we do have 3 of 4 hinted.
He doesn't have the hint for Darklink River, though. We know that Darklink River are both junk, and so is Gentle Pillar.
Okay, so Pyro was the only one who found that Darklink hint.
It was on Open Grotto, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't touched field.
Oh, interesting.
I think Pyro routed Open Grotto with Child Lake.
Yes, Red, that is a peek for that chest there. You're going to want to get in the corner. Side hop 6 times to the left. Side hop right 4 times. And then C up. Or roll and C up, and you can peek right in there.
Alright, Serenade for Pyro, I think this might be a Jabu play, which is honestly understandable given his routing so far and what he hasn't done.
Yeah, that could be huge. I mean, it's new for us, so that's fine.
It is. And we have done all the really obvious plays, honestly, at this point. Like, this really might be it, because we've done our required dungeons, we've seen all of GTG, which was pretty much a snore. Other than, you need irons off the lab room, with the fortress roof, or gold scale from the lake room, but you don't need both.
We're missing what?
Paranosis long shot's probably there. We know Paranosis long shot's probably in water. He's going to do GTG eventually for the density. I'm not concerned about that. But it's really the Mirror Shield, because we are running out of checks again.
Angle getting a little frustrated with the Morpha fight. Missed the entire first phase.
Did Pyra get the Colossus song? I don't remember if he did, but I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, please.
Guys, do we need to yell at both of you in interview about?
We just want information, guys.
So we are missing opponents locked checks. We are missing...
We've seen
opponents
adult...
locked check.
Did we see
adult...
South Hyrule?
We have not seen anything in Hyrule Field besides Open Ground. We haven't even seen Boulder of Destiny.
Oh
We also haven't seen Big Pose. We haven't seen the Lens. We know Lens Game stuff. We haven't seen Big Pose. We have not seen Jabu, obviously. We are still missing our last item in Water Temple because that's a key on Morpha. We're missing... no, Hammerocks is dead because Valley's foolish. We haven't seen Shoot the Sun because we don't have Sun Song. Although I'm just going to check it here.
I'm pretty sure...
We've got the ZL lock checks in Well. I don't know how many of them are peaked. There's got to be at least Dead Hand and the 2 checks on Dead Hand. Like, there is, not ironically, a real chance that Pyra finds Mirror Shield here, just because we've seen just so much of the game between these guys.
Pyra does not have Requiem check marked off on their personal trackers, so I think they skipped it as well.
Alright, guys. Song might be Bolero with the Song on OOT, and we don't have access to that, but if that's the case, then that just only increases the chance that Mirror Shield's here in Jabu, because we are running out of checks again.
Angle cleaning up what Pyra's already done. Pyra doing some new stuff. So
this is probably the densest location we have right now between our runners, I think.
That's so cursed. Seeing what I'm seeing on the screen right now, Jabu is our densest location.
I mean, we've seen all of our other dungeons. Not ironically, we've seen all of our other dungeons that we can do. We've seen all of our, and that's our main density. I guess Hyrule Field is probably comparable in density.
Yeah.
But Hyrule Field's also kind of slow without opponents.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I guess the one check left that like that Pyra can check was Lap Dive, but that's just some seeds. Yeah, Pyra will do Adult Spear when he gets there. He might there's a real chance he might be able to just finish it by the time he gets there. We haven't seen the Runia, we haven't seen Skull Kid, we haven't seen the Goron Pot. I don't think anyone's checked DMC Fairy yet.
You say Skull Kid?
Skull Kid, yeah, or did something.
That was Light Arrows.
Oh yeah, never mind. We haven't seen Darunia the Pot, we haven't seen DMC Fairy. We're gonna see Field here from Pyra.
I would be so surprised if it's here in the field. The whole time.
It would be such a troll at this point, because bombs are late enough that by the time you get them, you've got a million other things to do, so Field's just not high on your priority list. Angle's gonna be probably a smidge grumpy to see the hint here about Essential Dark Water Temple, Dark Link River Chest.
Well, that's actually good for him, because he didn't check all the checks in water. He still has to go back. He's leaving the one check, I believe.
He's missing one item, yeah, I think. Angle did not do Hammerocks, Valley's foolish. Something I've been routinely forgetting, but that was foolish. Well, Jabu so far not paying out. There are only 4 checks in here, but this and Field are the 2 densest locations in the game between our runners right now. So
if there's going to be a check, please just be on Baronade. That would be the best.
It honestly would be the best for Pyra here.
Yeah.
Pyra setting furores?
Uh-oh.
I'm confused and concerned.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, Pyra.
Pyra.
He's gonna gamble that it's not Baronade. He's done the other 3 checks. Pyra, if you're gonna spend the time going to unrequired Jabu after having ground for Rush 30 skulls for a Brutal's letter on OGC, I would doing that.
I could understand. It feels bad. The entire time you're doing Jabu, you get your first 3 checks, you're down to Baronade. It's just, it doesn't feel good at all.
No. Oh, I just thought of another check we haven't seen. Oh, Castle Fairy. Again,
yeah.
late bombs. And late CL.
Oh,
It's not
it's
Tektite
not
Grotto.
nothing. Have
I
we
hope
really
Pyro
not
checks
seen?
several. We had
We
late
haven't.
bombs and late CL.
Wow.
Has anyone checked chickens yet?
Yes, chickens have been checked.
Wasn't completely sure on that. Yeah, we are seriously on the back of the everybody's favorite pastime on comms. What do we have left in the game?
Uh-oh. Not
Oh,
Destiny.
is this it? Nope, it's a slingshot.
We are at slingshot percent.
But yeah, we are on a very short list of remaining checks right now.
Yeah,
Also, Domain is not foolish. Pyra KZ skipped.
Oh, yeah. That is true. And this looks like an ice play
There
for
it
Angle.
is! There it is for Pyra! It's on the Hyrule Castle Ferry of all places!
Oh,
Yay!
that's so bad.
It's been available since forever, but it's such an easy to forget check when Zeal and bombs are late, like they were in this scene. Because you get bombs, you get bombs from the well, you get Kakir's from the well, you go Deku Tree, you get your hook shot there, and then you rush Adult, and you've got Forest, Shadow, you've got, Spirit. Like, there's just so much else to do at that point. Hyrule Castle Fairy just becomes a thing you forget about.
Pyra must feel pretty good about bailing on Baronade at that point. Now, thing is, Pyra is still missing Longshot and Iron Boots.
He knows one of them is in Spirit, though.
Yeah. And
I have to imagine he goes GTG after Spirit.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to skip all of GTG because the Iron Boots are just on top.
Yep, he's going to find irons and get out of town.
Now, he's not going to get the hammer, which is fine. You got Big Goron's sword
need it.
Ganon fight, so...
He doesn't need it. On the other hand, when does Angle get to that Mirror Shield as he gets vanilla double magic off the DMC Fairy? Thanks!
At one point, if you're Angle, do you start thinking, uh-oh, I might need skulls?
Probably probably now, if he hasn't already. Because you're running out of checks for Angle. You've run out of paths, you've been skipping hints, and you're starting to run out of checks. I'm thinking this is a DC play for him now for both skulls and checks.
This makes sense.
Though he does not do the hookshot extension for the skull there. I think he knows it, but not too consequential. He's not too far off 30 anyway. But
Yeah,
I think he has. But you have to start going for skulls here. And you see for Angle,
depending on your controller layout as well, it could be a little bit different if your C buttons are on a C stick. It's not as easy to do that trick with the oh well, you do have a hammer, so I guess that makes that skull super easy.
yeah, there's also just that.
And there's the Dark Link hints.
Thanks, game. Man, Pyra, ultimately that Strength 3 did not pay out for Pyra, but it did push him to clear more of Child, which has paid out. So pros and cons, I guess. I'm honestly not sure how. I absolutely... Like, Pyra is going to be in Go mode in like 10-15 minutes. Beat Spirit, go GTG, find your irons on Fortress Roof, and there's Go mode. Versus, I mean, there's just only so much left of the game for Angle to find that Mirror Shield. DC's not going to take super long, but it depends on how hard he starts to rush 30 at this point. It is still only one check, but it is a check when you've got like 20 checks left in the game. So maybe you start thinking about that a little harder again.
Oh, angles. Okay, no, we're back. Here we
Okay,
go.
just a bit of lag.
Yeah, so we know where all the items are, so that's where we're in no mode.
We
But
are in no mode.
our runners, Angle is missing the mirror shield, and Pyra is missing pretty much the water starter pack with Longshot and Irons. Gonna get Longshot here in Spirit Temple, and then Irons are on top of Gerudo's Fortress.
But he should be fine.
Yeah, I mean that's the next two plays for Pyra, so it just makes sense. Whereas Angle, it's that mirror shield's kind of in a nasty location.
It really is. He at least might not release immediately because he knows Bruto's letter is nowhere to be found right now, and you might want to actually follow logic for once there. That would help him. But he might choose to rush 30 skulls at this point, which would be a time sink. We know Pyro did a substantial amount of time. The reason why Pyro was behind for so much of this race was because he rushed 30 skulls early and for what has turned out to be actually absolute nothing, unfortunately. But it did pay off in that Pyra is now did more of Child in that with that Child Spirit cycle, and is better off as a result because that's such a bad spot for that Mirror Shield and Hyrule Castle Fairy.
Yeah, it's one of those very easily orphaned off checks, especially with how late our bombs and mainly ZL was.
Yeah, it's just placed in such a way that because you do adult 1, you find not much of anything of particular immediate use. You go child, you find ZL, and you go child, you get pretty much bottlenecked fairly in about half an hour into the well for bomb back in the well coffin, and Kokiri Sword in the well as well. Pardon the pun. Both Kokiri Sword and bomb back in the well, and then that gets you to Deku, which gets you your hook shot, and then you're going back adult. You've got Forest, you've got Shadow. You're probably picking up 10 skulls at that point because everyone's at least getting. Even if they don't go as hard as Pyro did, you have to go for skulls this seed for that 30. Like you're getting 10. I don't know how you don't.
Yeah, no, I'd be surprised if anybody pretty much skipped the 30 skulls altogether, or at least didn't go for them as hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way people don't get that 10 skulls relatively quickly this seed. Even though the 30 did not end up being required, there's no way you can't at least look for it. But yeah, like that's the thing though. Like you go adult, you get 10 skull strength, you do force, you do shadow, and then you go spirit, and like there's just so much else to do by the time you finally get Zeal out of Crater that it's just not on your that Hyrule Castle Fairy is just not a priority. It's up there with the Zeal lock checks and well for things I just do not want to go back to. I think for most runners this seed. Zeal lock checks and Goron's Zeal check lock checks well, and Zeal lock checks in Goron City as well. This really lousy out of the way checks that you just don't have a good reason to figure out in until you're running out of checks to do in the game.
And that's the beauty of Rando. These items could be anywhere. They don't necessarily have to be hinted all the time because it is a randomizer, and that's what makes it fun.
I do wonder what our final path hint was.
I'm curious
If
where
it
that
told them
location
Hyrule
would be.
Castle Fairy was path and somebody found that somewhere, they're a genius. And they save probably a fair amount of time on people in this suit because that Mirror is just in a really terrible spot.
Imagine it's Hyrule Castle 2 or 3. I think that would be pretty funny.
Alright, but bonk for Pyra, and he's gonna be climbing Spirit here. Has found his long shot. And alright, Engel is going back child. where does he go first? He is backlocking out. This is good, because if he gets Hyrule
This
Castle
shows
Fairy here,
promise.
he's in a really good spot, because Pyra still has all of water to do, which is going to take which is going to take time for him.
That's nighttime. Yeah, I mean, now this definitely has to be a Hyrule Castle Fairy because you've already made all the checks in market that you can.
Yeah.
Yep, this is.
Get the skull and
skull.
get the fairy.
You got that slingshot with 50 bullets of ammo. It's been a great seed.
It's been a great seed. We've seen all but like 15 checks in the game or something. It's been a whole mess.
For a second, I thought he was going to go for Hyrule Castle too. By the way, happy 2 hours. I'd like to thank the runners, Angle and Pyra, for allowing us to restream them today. And also like to thank all the other runners who are doing this qualifier. Again, this is qualifier number 3. The third qualifier of a total of 12, which are completely laid out. I could go ahead and actually, if you are interested in any of the qualifiers for this, you could go and hit that link right there. And you can actually, maybe play a seed or two and join us in the next qualifiers that are coming up. The next qualifier is, in fact, qualifier number 4, which is on Friday, August 4th, Eastern Standard Time, 2:15 p.m. If you are CEST, that is 8:15 p.m. If you are BST, that is 7:15 p.m. And for our Pacific Standard Time, that is actually 11:15 a.m. in the morning. So Friday is always a good day for qualifiers, pretty much the weekend as well. We have more qualifiers, number 5 and 6, being run on Saturday and Sunday for this weekend, and pretty much all of next week. So if you're interested, by all means, go and check those out. And I'd like to also thank our trackers, which are Baseball and Shannock. Thank you so much. Without them, we would be completely lost. We would have no idea where anything is, and we're just solely going off memory at that point. And also thank you, Star, for joining here on the commentary booth.
Yep. We are also, and thank you to Oak as well for competing with me. Speaking of volunteers, we are also looking for volunteers for our qualifiers. We do have a full crew for Friday, but we do need crews for both for this weekend's qualifiers and for the remaining qualifiers after that. If you're interested, I did stick the link to the SGL Ocarina of Time Randomizer Discord in the chat. This is not the same one as the main SGL Discord that the bot linked. This is a separate one to where we organize most of the tournament because it's a little easier to have individual channels for things. So please join that. Grab the online volunteers role, and we can, if you want to help out with commentary or tracking.
I can assure you, it is a fun time no matter what you do, and it is always greatly appreciated. Everybody here in the community is very welcoming and very informational. So don't feel don't feel like it's too much on you.
Yep.
So this is Angle and Go mode. And gonna be finishing Spirit here very quick, and then just right on up to Ganon, where Pyra has just finished Twinrova. Probably gonna work their way down to GTG, find those Iron Boots, and go beat Water, and Go mode for them as well. So here shortly.
Yep. A little bit behind Angle though at the end here, just due to, I guess it still really just is rushed skulls too hard.
Yeah, even with going into Jabu, going into Jabu did waste a little bit more time. So I'd say probably about 5 to 10 minutes behind here and behind Angle.
Which, yeah, seems about reasonable. Gonna find out that gonna find a Colossus Fairy here, has his hammer, and probably will size it at this one. In regards to Path 5 possibilities, well is the only option for Goma, either Bombs or Kiri Sword through Morpha, and Twinrova could also roll well. Temple of Time, Lost Woods, and Forest are all options, yeah. And the Hyrule Castle for Twinrova and Fortress Morpha, yeah, there's options still for those dungeons and what they could have, there's a bunch of options for what Path could have been.
I would have loved to see a fortress for Morpha to fulfill the 3 Morpha path.
That would have been kind of funny.
Okay, so I actually did check another runner, and I found our 5th path.
Who?
It is Lost Woods to Morpha.
Oh, lovely.
Which looks like it's
Din's on the woods
Din's.
target for Spirit Key logic. Because fire arrows are in Shadow Shadow Trial.
It could be that, or it could be Din's for the strength in Shadow.
That no, both 10 and 30 were available.
Okay.
Remember,
Okay,
10 and 30 was available very early per the discussion we had forever ago at this point. Also, Shadow Access for Requiem, good point.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But it was both Spirit Key logic, because there was a key on that chest and for Shadow Access.
Savi.
Hi, Savi. I can confirm Lyrish is not in Javi. But yeah, GG's Javi. Minor spoilers because we are on a 15-minute delay, but Savi did decide to quit the seed. I assume you did Javi looking for that mirror shield.
Yep, Pyra did the same thing. We got to see that. GG's.
Yep.
By the way, if you are curious where Mira was in Hyrule Castle Ferry.
Yep. But yeah, Pyra did. Pyra's real. Why Pyra's about 10-ish minutes, 5-10 minutes behind Angle, is because Pyra rushed skulls a little bit too hard in the early game. Did all of DC, went ice for his last couple skulls, and then probably got kind of mad when he found the strength 3 in Shadow. So he decided to go Jabu to follow up on that strength 3 that he otherwise wasted several minutes on, and then did the first 3 checks left for Rose and did not do Baronade, which turned out to be the right play.
And there is the go mode for Pyra, the Iron Boots. Yeah, Zabi, we could imagine the strength in Shadow for the Skull Pushers definitely enraged every single one of you.
Oh yeah, because there's going to be people who like Angle did just picked up skulls in the way but didn't rush it too hard, and there's like Pyra who rushed it a little too hard.
Yeah. No, we did get to see 3 Key Forests today, so I feel like it's been a pretty special day.
That was pretty funny because we saw it because Angle did 3 Key Forest to get the magic very early, and we're like, "Ooh, this could be a big play." And then, the strength of 10 skulls turned up, and we're like, "Never mind, great." Because at that point, 30 skulls was already in logic before they got the strength. The strength on 10 skulls turned up, and it's like, okay, well, I guess everyone's getting that magic really isn't a huge deal anymore. Never mind. Thanks, game.
By the way, do we have confirmation on what the song in Requiem was? That is eating me alive.
Oh yeah, but neither of these guys actually walked out of Spirit to check it. And we were yelling at them because that could have been a bonus song, which would have unlocked 3 new checks, and we were running really low on it by the end of the game.
Okay, I'm looking at another runner's tracker now, and it's Bolero.
Alright, so never mind that. I can't believe it didn't happen to me too, but I'm surprised neither of these guys checked the song. Especially when you're running that low on checks. You know, getting HBA is really helpful, especially because you know you're going to GTG after Spirit with the way that, you know, things rounded.
Yeah, 2 relatively quick checks and 1 check that is just nasty. Okay, I don't like big pose. Okay. I'd rather do HBA 3 times over.
Alright, Ganon Dime here for Angle. We are on a 15-minute delay, so Angle has been done for almost 15 minutes. But I won't spell any finish times until the delay catches up. So I do have the race room open, since that is kind of my job as attorney admin here, and the attorney admin who's in charge of this particular call. We should be done here in a few minutes for Angle, and Pyro's not too far behind. Still, though, interesting seed. Very trolly at the start, very linear. And then it just turns into a, where's Mirror Shield Hunt at the end?
Oh, the Goron City or the Goron City path for Twin Robot. I love how Angle just didn't even get it.
Nope. Didn't
Just
end
got
up
the hover
battering.
boots, just push Shadow. It just worked.
I mean, it made sense. There wasn't a lot to do besides Shadow Temple.
Take notes, guys. This is how you do it. Oh, nice Ganon fight for Angle. We're still looking for that, looking for the boss key here. I actually don't remember. Oh, it was vanilla boss key.
It was vanilla. We knew that. We know that Darkling River chests are both so boss key chest has to be either a small key or a boss key, and it ended up being the boss key in this seed with the then small key on Morpho. The particulars of which is called Water Temple Key Logic, which isn't quite as bad as Spirit Key Logic, but is its own quirkiness.
I think I was told one time if there's a... Oh, I guess that doesn't necessarily apply to these settings. Never mind. League.
Hi, Oxy. Oops. Yeah, GG's, Oxy, who did end up deciding to quit the seed a minute or so ago. Imagine skipping Hyrule Castle Fairy. Yeah, I assume that was the sticking point for most people this seed.
The real question, Oxy, is did you go into Jabu or not?
Yes, indeed.
I can imagine the
Jabu. Rush 30 skulls, which is basically which kind of ties with yours, yeah. And no, okay. But alright, Angle's about to finish up here. Is actually not going to be first place because Martin just finished first, 15:05, and Angle is close behind. Finishing up with an official time of 2:15:49. GG's.
GG's. Well played.
It is a second place for Angle, just 36 seconds 36. No, that's 44 seconds. I can't math. 44 seconds behind Martin, and going to be a pretty good point calculation here for Angle with that finish time. We won't know the qualifier points until after everyone finishes, but that will be very good for Angle. This is his second qualifier. His first, he did get 34 points out of his first one, and because he was he was second place in Qual 2 as well, and was just behind True there, so got 34.6 points out of that. Is going to get probably a little over 100 points divided by 3. So then he's going to get probably about 100 points here, which will put him in a really good spot for brackets, for making brackets here.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Every single one of these runners that did this qual today had a really good chance to make the top here. And yeah, I just GG's to every single one of you. You guys killed it.
Yep. Pyro's done one qualifier so far. He did elect to forfeit that one, so he will need to do 5 if he wants to make brackets. Is on his way to finishing this one, which he will not be a top finisher, but isn't too far behind, so should still get a decent amount of points, as we are now joined by Angle. GG.
GG.
I'm with Jimbo on this one. I hate this game.
I gotta praise you for that 3-key forest. That was such a big brain play, and then seeing the strength in Shadow was just like, and the strength on 10 skulls. What were you thinking when that happened?
I mean, 3-key forest is a thing I normally do if I have hovers anyway, so I was like, yo, big chest. Actually, this might pay out. Magic, okay. Do I just big brain right into Shadow, get more skulls? Maybe there's something there. It's forest medallion. Maybe I just do that first. But then then there's the strength on 10, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess we go, forest first, because.
Yeah. No, by the way, so funny thing about the hoppers. Just get some hints.
I know.
One of the things you skipped was both Deku Hen's angle. Guess what was there?
Probably the spirit hand.
You would be correct. Goron City was path to Twin River for those hover boots.
When I was in Mirror Shield Hunt, I started to worry about that a little bit, but then I was also like, well, no one's finished, so it can't be like that obvious of a hint. It's probably just telling me one of the 100 items for Shadow Temple for the Requiem.
We eventually verified from looking at people's VODs that the final path hint besides that was Goron City Path 2. Not Lostwood's Path to what was it, Morpha or
Morpha.
for Dins.
Yeah.
Because, well, thanks. Dins for Shadow Access and for Spirit Key Logic both.
Thanks, game.
Because the other hint you didn't get was Fire Arrows are in Shadow Trial too, which has left.
Yeah, I mean, once I got the Strength 2 and Shadow, that's when I just kind of stopped collecting skulls, because I knew Ganon's itself would be dead. It would just be the one check on outside.
Do you know what was in that check?
Is that where the letter is that these people have?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I checked most things in this seed. Where's the letter?
Yeah. So the real big difference between you and Pyro this seed is that Pyro rushed skulls really hard early.
Yeah.
Did very good rounding, to his credit. He rounded excellently, rounded with OGC, did DC, he actually did a quick trip into Ice Cavern for his last couple skulls and got the whole lot of nothing out of there besides. And then got 30 and got both 10 and 30 at the same time. So got those two, did Forest, did Shadow, and was probably
getting them both together.
Yeah, and was probably really, really mad at 10 skulls and Shadow, because it's like, oh great, but that's really the difference between you guys. He's about 10-ish minutes behind you right now here on Restream, and that's just he did all of DC, he did Ice, and then he also got Letter from OGC and dipped Jabu with that Child Spirit play for the keys. He didn't do all of Jabu, at least. He didn't skip Baronade and Leaf Wars in there, but that's basically the time difference between you guys. Is he rushed skulls a little bit too hard, which I don't blame him for. It really looked like that was going to be your first strength upgrade for the better part of the first hour. Until
I don't blame the Jabu play if you get the letter, because I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for the last handful of checks to find that mirror.
There was very little left between you guys. Jabu was non-ironically one of the densest plays in the game.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate, because you start adult, you can't get lullaby, so you go child, and at least I did a pretty thorough child one. I did most of the child checks. So then when you go back adult and get lullaby and are just dungeon hopping between like forest, shadow, spirit, etc., there's no good time to go back to that castle fairy ever.
Yeah, and we're catching up here a bit on finishes. We with the delay catches up. There was place with Zephyr finishing 2:17:36. Jimbo was 4th, 2:19:42, and Alpha Q Up was 5th, 2:21:31. We can now see Zeph and Alpha there in the chat, as well as Kalari. Spoiler said, but he has finished as well. Do it later point. GG's. The gold scale, by the way, was to the GPG Life Room. Zeph there in the chat. Apparently, Zeph, Kawari, and Alpha Kyop were all in their 20s at the end. When they found that strength in Shadow, which, yeah. Cyro Castle was incredibly horrible. Yeah.
I don't know what it is with these SGL seeds, but I've played a bunch of practice ones, and it's like most of the seed is just straightforward. Everything's fine, you know, get your items, beat your dungeons, and then there's just like one item, one item every time that just could be anywhere, and you have the whole world to find it.
Yeah. Still remember the strengths from the first Qualifier.
Oh yeah, the first one was like Field, Tectai Grotto, something, and
Field
Goron
Tectai
City.
Grotto was one, and Goron Town was the other that caught people out. I think Pyro did at least skip GTG, so he's not quite as far behind as he would have been otherwise, because Irons were his go mode, but yeah. We'll be done pretty soon though here, as GG's to Earl Weird finishing 6th, 223.34.
Yeah, I mean, for pretty much doing every dungeon except for Jabu and Fire is still really good time.
Yeah, going to be a
across the board.
Of 230 here for Pyron. Kalari apparently also thought that Deku Shield was the Irons. Yeah, me too, Kalari, me too. Yeah.
I had to do a double peek when I went child, because I looked at it as adult really quickly and then completely doubted what I saw. I was like, what? Are you a shield? Oh, well you are, but not the one I want.
There we are. GG's to Pyra, who just barely snipes Flea. 7th and 8th, 224.33 and 224.35.
GG's.
Pyra will be joining us early for an interview here, and I'm sure he has opinions about his makeup grade.
Come, join us in complaining about the seed.
And we're now joined by Pyra. GG's.
Hello. Good game. Fun game.
Welcome to the Complaint Central.
I hate me this game.
Yeah, so how about those strength upgrades, Pyra?
I love them. I love them so much. They were great. I'm almost positive I had 10 and intentionally didn't check it because I was like, I'll just go in with 30.
I think you had 10 when you got Nocturne for sure.
Yeah.
And probably before that, but because you rushed skulls really hard at the start, which you did a really good job of routing those.
Yeah, I did.
To be fair, and it made sense at the time. Like the seed, it was really bottlenecked at the start there, and it looked like that was going to be your first strength upgrade, and then Angle got the skull. Got 10 skulls, checked 10 that, and oh, there's one strength. Angle goes Shadow and game, really.
Leave Forest, get 10, go back to Forest, yay!
Yeah, pretty much.
You were in Redead Grotto. You had, I think, 19 or 20 at that time, and we were like, okay, go check 10, go get your strength.
No.
And then you started playing Prelude. We were like, Pyra? And then you stopped, and we were like, okay, all right, he knows, all right? And then you went to go get Nocturne, you're like, no.
Yeah. That door transition is too long. It's a time loss if you have to go in the place. So I saved for time. Yeah, no, I was so focused on getting Nocturne, I just ran past the skulls, and I was like, yeah. I'm close to 30 when I get it. What's the likelihood?
That's what we figured. But that's really the difference in this seed between you guys, is that 9 minutes difference, is that you rush skull. You spend a lot of time rushing skulls early.
Yeah.
And then you dip Jabu too, and that's about where the 9 minutes is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I personally am very much you should play to your advantage.
It made sense for you to go Jabu when you did.
Yeah. And my advantage was Ruda's. And the fact that the seed hates me. So I was like, let me just go to Jabu.
The seed hates you, Liv.
It was just It was a combination of just like a bunch of small things, like doing DC for no reason other than the skulls, doing Child Goron City, doing Child Domain, doing Ice, doing 30
Ice
skulls.
especially,
like,
given Fountain and River
I
were
was
both
like, you know,
foolish.
if I want to win this, I'm gonna find something in Jabu. So I went to Jabu.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable call to make at that point in the seed. My end, I just didn't have 30 skulls ever.
Must be nice.
I was getting very concerned when I was like,
Yeah.
5 checks left in the game looking for the mirror shield, though. Like, I better start picking these up again.
Yeah, you guys about full clear the seed between the two of you.
Yeah. Did you ever find a gold scale, or did you have to
It's in
rely on
GTG. They're both up. One's above, one's in. Classic.
Yeah. I kind of figured, but there's always the like terrifying thought that it's going to be in Ganon's, and you're just kind of shit out of luck with it. So.
Yeah.
Irons was my go mode, so I just got the roof chest and bailed and never touched GTG.
Yeah. Yep. I was hunting for shield, so I cleared pretty much all of it. I think I skipped toilet, even though it was, I think, an item, which...
It was hinted anyway.
It was hinted to be dead, but you never got the hint. That was in Fountain, was where that hint was.
I just knew. I knew.
Several people in chat who from the seed were apparently in their high 20s when they got the strength in Shadow. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there's... you're kind of been the only person who wrote Skulls Hard Pyra, and it's one of those things that really makes sense at the time, but then the rando was like, nope.
Yeah, 30 really isn't bad, and I was able to like do checks along the way too. Like, the only thing that I felt was like kind of crazy was divvying to Ice, but again, that felt like one of those like, this is out of the way. I know the song was dead because of the dual hit, so it's like I can just get the 2 skulls, check the 3 things, and never touch Ice again.
Yep.
Yeah, I never wanted to go Ice because I didn't have that letter, obviously. And there's always that concern, like, maybe it's just in Ganon's and you should never go to this place and waste 5 minutes, right? But, like, it's good for skulls, so it's not a terrible play in this one. I think at the time I was still missing magic, too.
You were, because you had no strengths in magic, was in shed, it was in forest. Speaking of, by the way, I will hear freaking forest for that magic.
I was thinking about it. Anytime I do it, it never pays off, and I'm like, whatever.
Well, it didn't actually pay out that hard in this one, because I do it and then I get the strength and go right back anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that led me again to like not push skulls quite as hard, because I kind of figured I'm doing forest and then I'm just going to do shadow and clear it, because it's, it's skulls and probably the song I need of either like Epona or Requiem.
I was also like really hoping to not have to do shadow, because the hovers logic was for ZL, and I was like, I wonder if a lot of people are going to get baited into shadow, because Shadow sucks, and I didn't want to do it. But then you had to anyway for the song. So. Yeah,
it sucks, but it felt like, I just have no way to get to Spirit, so
yeah.
It probably wants me to beat this to get to Spirit.
Yeah. That was actually another reason I went to Jabu, because it was like, everything needs to be... Well, the second hook needed to be ZL locked. And I was like, why not? Fuck it, let's go do it. So... Other than that, I thought I played really well. I was really impressed with my skull routing. I think I hit 30 at like 110.
That's pretty good.
Something like that. You did really well with that. It was coming how, since you're a hype RSL, you were placed really well in RSL last season. You have to know your skulls for RSL.
Yeah.
And you certainly rounded well. You guys both played well. Just I think you did a little too well on the skull round. Yeah, but that's random for you.
Yeah.
That is so, but that should still be a pretty decent call for you, though, Pyra. The point calculation won't come out till everyone finishes.
Yeah.
But you should still probably get, you're 9 minutes behind Angle, 7 behind Zeph, who was 3rd place.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere in the 70s or high 70s, low 80s maybe for points. I'm not mathing at the moment. It's all...
I'm supposed to be retired, but people keep pushing me into flying, so I'm just kind of flying.
Well, we're happy to have you. And Angle, this is your second place finish in as many quals.
Dear everyone else, stop sniping me when I'm on Ganon. Thanks.
Oh yeah, if Flea is here, I'm sorry about that too. Someone by like 2 seconds.
Yeah, you did snipe poor Flea by 2 seconds.
Get it right.
But Angle, I know you got divided by 3 would end up being 34 points towards your total out of your first qual. And you're gonna get probably another 34 points or thereabouts in this one, so.
Yeah, just hoping to get another good one for the third and not have to play the full 5 at this point.
I mean, as long as you get like in the 80s, you should probably
As
high
long as
70s, low 80s.
Yeah,
should
as long
be
as I don't
fine.
like forfeit and get completely owned, like
Unless you
could happen.
unless you do a complete brain fart, like forgetting to talk to the Zora diving guy after doing the minigame.
Don't jinx it. I've done that.
Yeah, which is why.
I've done
But yeah, so I've seen other people do it too, which is why I mentioned it. But yeah, as long as you don't goof it, as long as you don't screw up too badly, you should be fine to make it. But good luck to you both on your future goals.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Any last questions from you, Oak, or from chat here as we wrap it up here?
No, between the two of you, you guys showed us everything. You showed us absolutely everything the seed had to offer, and it was a pleasure watching the two of you.
Yeah.
I'd say this was a fun one, but it was fun until that shield just refused to appear.
Alright, so please do give our runners once again a follow here, Angle and Pyro, if you haven't already, to my co-comp Oak, and to our 2 trackers, Shinnok and Baseball. We do have another 9 qualifiers coming up. The next one will be on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. CEST. 6 from 8 p.m. CST, that's failing math. And then we'll have 2 more over the weekend at 10 a.m. Eastern on Sunday and 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday is 10 a.m., Sunday is 2 p.m. And yeah, Qual 4 is at 2 p.m. on August 4th. Which is a Friday. I need to go to bed because my brain's quit. If you you do need a middle, and then we'll have a total of 12 qualifiers total running through August 17th. Then we'll have a bracket single elimination. 32 players here. They'll be running from August 19th through mid-September, whatever date it was I stuck on the rules doc. If you want more information, please do join the Creative Time Randomizer Speedgaming Live Discord server, is separate from the one that was linked in the bot there. This is where you can find all the information and sign up to volunteer for e-streams as a commentator or as a tracker. We'll be happy to have you. And for now, at least, that is going to be it here for us. Thank you for watching all, and have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.